radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Good evening. Yeah, man. Fade to Black. How you doing? How you doing? This is Bespoke Radio for the masses. Yeah. Today's Thursday, April 7th, 2022. 97 days into the new year. Only 268 days left. We are live from a bunker somewhere in the middle of nowhere. A total undisclosed location. But it is nice in here. How you doing? I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States. Hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer, and UNX Networks. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? How you doing? How you doing? All right, tonight is a very special broadcast. Had to reschedule from Tuesday nights. And tonight, very special guest, Flat Earth Dave. That's right. Flat Earth Dave is here to discuss if the flat Earth is still a thing. That's right. That's what we're going to do tonight. No fader night tonight, no open lines, nothing like that. Way too much to talk about with Flat Earth Dave. I'm so looking forward to this. We haven't done a Flat Earth show. Well, I think we've only done like one. I remember that show with, think of his name here in a second, Mark Sargent. And that was a number of years ago, 5, maybe 6, maybe years ago. Was it that long ago? It's been a while. And I don't know if we've done a actual flat Earth show. It's certainly been discussed enough times. But have we done a flat Earth show? The answer is no. Not since Mark Sargent. So tonight, Flat Earth Dave is here. And I'm going to say Reese's Puffs Bunnies. Okay, that got my attention. I guess Easter's coming up. When is Easter? Yeah, somebody post that. I have no idea. Okay, so what was I? Where was I? I was going somewhere with Flat Earth. Oh well. Well, we're gonna do Flat Earth for the rest of the night. I guess we could circle back to what I was thinking. I've got so many things on my mind when it comes to Flat Earth. Okay, so tonight, Flat Earth Dave is here. And, this is, just let me say this. This is my belief, and I'm not speaking for Flat Earth Dave, okay, but I'm speaking in generalities, right? In general, I think that most, if not all, flat earthers don't believe the earth is flat. No, they don't. They know it. The earth is round. It's a globe. They know this. But they just like to debate. That's all. That's all. And you go back to the debate team in high school. All right, go back to the debate team. And you don't know what side of the fence you're going to be put on, right? And then whoever's the captain of the debate team says, Bob, you're A. Sam, you're B. And you've got to be prepared. And it's the spirit of the debate. It doesn't matter what, it's the spirit of the debate. That's what I think flat earthers are. And that's fine. I think it's just sport. That's all. They're practicing. They still think they're on the debate team back in high school. And that's my take. That's my take. So we're going to do that tonight. And let's see how far we can take this. Tonight, Flat Earth Dave is here. All right. Man, I just posted up in Twitter. Did you see what I just posted in Twitter? I think I posted in Facebook too. I mean, it just is so glorious. Got a shipment of River Moon coffee in. And let me tell you something. So this is what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 pounds of Fade to Black blend. And you're holding those silver bags, and they just look so good. I was like, man, I got to take a picture of this. So I did. I took a picture, and I posted it. Look at that. Sexy. Yeah. And I know you want your own Fade to Black blend. There it is. There is nothing like a fresh shipment. That's a week's worth of coffee right there. Pound a day. Fade to Black blend. Look at that. Go follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Follow me on Twitter right now. And check out those pictures I just posted. Yeah, man. Unedited. You would think that, because that's such a sexy picture. That looks like I used an Instagram filter, doesn't it? And that is unedited, man. That's straight off the phone. Right there. Both of them. Look at that. Oh, you want some of that, don't you? Don't you? Fade to Black blend. Look at that. All right. Where am I at? Get your next crystal skull right now from Carolyn Ford. Go to EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com. Promo code is Jimmy. 10% off of your next crystal skull order today, right now at EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com. I will be speaking. It's coming up in 1 month at the X Conference, May 13th and 14th. That's Friday and Saturday night. I'll be speaking Friday night right after I am done. There's going to be a live paranormal investigation, and you can check that out too. That's Friday night. Saturday, May 14th. The hours are 10 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. This is an online-only event. I want you to go to the unxnetwork.com for the schedule and information. It's all right there at the unxnetwork.com. Disclosure Fest is coming up quickly. June 18th, one-day event, Saturday, June 18th, at the Los Angeles State Historic Park in downtown Los Angeles. I'm hosting the event again this year. We have got music performances by Trevor Hall, Desert Dwellers, Poron Gee. There's like 20 bands on 4 stages. And then there's another 12 stages with workshops and presentations and yoga and dance. Workshops with Billy Carson, Adam Apollo, Lori Spagna, Laura Eisenhower, Brad Olson, David Palmer, and many others. I'm gonna be doing some stuff too. Don't think that I'm not going to be yapping. I'm going to be on stage. I'm going to be hosting. I think I might even do a panel. I might get everybody together for a panel. I might take a few minutes to get some thoughts out to everybody. There's going to be live streaming and everything else. So I want you to go to disclosurefest.org for tickets and information, and check out all of the foundations that Disclosure Fest supports. The homeless, feeding the homeless, cleaning the beaches, planting trees. It's an absolute incredible event. So do something for this planet. Do something for yourself. Come and hang out with me at Disclosure Fest 2022 in downtown Los Angeles. All right. And then coming up this October, I'm going to Egypt with Billy Carson. We've got 2 buses, 1.5 are filled up, and space is very limited. So I want you to go to forbiddenknowledge.com right now for the complete schedule and information. That is forbiddenknowledge.com. I'm going to be celebrating my birthday in Luxor. And if you are lucky enough to get on this tour with Billy and I, you can come and celebrate my birthday with me right there in Luxor. It's going to be special. So come and hang out with us. That's this October. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Follow me right there at JChurchRadio. And I like hanging out on Twitter. I do. Well, Facebook, I've got all those Facebook pages and things, and that's cool. Really. But if you want to connect with me, at JChurchRadio, right there on Twitter. Let's get to the breaking news. Crazy day today because earlier, Ketanji Brown Jackson became the first black woman confirmed to the United States Supreme Court. Incredible day. She currently sits on D.C.'s federal appellate court and will be sworn in after Justice Stephen Breyer retires sometime this summer. Wow. Big day in U.S. history. Well, astronomers have discovered what may be the earliest and most distant galaxy ever observed. One that formed relatively soon after the Big Bang and marked the origin of the universe and may be populated by the novel first generation of stars. The galaxy, called HD1, dates from a bit more than 300 million years after the Big Bang that occurred about 13.8 billion years ago. Researchers announced everything today with images. The observations suggest HD1 formed stars at a staggering rate, perhaps about 100 new stars per year, and also has what would be the earliest known supermassive black hole. If the data is confirmed by future observations, HD1 could be the earliest known galaxy by about 100 million years. And that is incredible. Well, when Ukraine tweeted out to Elon Musk to ask for Starlink internet services amidst the Russian invasion, the tech billionaire delivered. With the help of the United States Agency for International Development, called USAID, according to a new USAID press release, Elon sent 5,000 Starlink terminals to Ukraine. USAID said the terminals will provide Ukraine with unlimited, unthrottled data connectivity, keeping communications open for the government and citizens alike, even if Putin's brutal aggression destroys Ukraine's fiber optic or cellular communication infrastructure connections. Absolutely incredible. Well, now check this out. I actually had to go back and see this for myself. During an appearance on The Late Show starring James Corden on Monday night to promote her new horror comedy show called Shining Vale, Corden asked whether she had, this is Mira Sorvino, she had a paranormal experience. In response, Mira described how she saw a UFO back in 2018. Quote, "I have seen a UFO, for real. There is nothing else to explain it. I woke up in the middle of the night. We were in a rented house in the Malibu Hills after our home was affected by the Woolsey fire. I woke up and I went to the window and I was looking at the moon and I was thinking, I wish I had my good camera to take a picture of this beautiful moon. And all of a sudden, this ball that looked the color of a halogen light, a pinkish light. This huge ball zoomed over the ocean. It hung over the ocean for about 2 minutes, and I just stared at it. All of a sudden, just as fast as it arrived, it just disappeared. There is nothing we have on Earth that I'm aware of that our technology can do that could do that except for a UFO. It was crazy. End quote. Mira Sorvino. Absolutely incredible. Let's get this show cracking. Happy birthday to today, Jackie Chan. Jackie Chan, 68 years old. Russell Crowe is 58. What was that in Gladiator? Unleash Hell. Right? Was that Gladiator? Unleash Hell. That was Gladiator, right? Man, I can't remember. Hall & Oates, John Oates. Today, I can't believe I'm saying this. John Oates today is 73 years old. Janice Ian is younger than John Oates. Janice Ian is 71. She had a huge hit back in the day called At 17. Oh, man, I was so little when that thing came out. I was probably 10. And loved that song. And just affected me. And that was before Hall & Oates, wasn't it? How can John Oates be older than Janice Ian? Our dead guy's birthday today is Freddie Hubbard. 1938 to 2008, died at the age of 70. Freddie was a master of the trumpet. He played bebop, hard bop, and post-bop styles from the early 1960s onwards. His unmistakable and influential tone contributed to new perspectives for modern jazz and bebop. And there was no question that, along with Miles Davis, Freddie is considered the most brilliant trumpeter of a generation, or two, or three. Freddie Hubbard. On December 29th, 2008, Freddie died in Sherman Oaks, California from complications caused by a heart attack he suffered on November 26th. He was 70 years old. Born in Indianapolis, my town, right? Born in Indianapolis, and died in my town here in Southern California in Sherman Oaks. Weird connection. Happy birthday, Freddie Hubbard. On this day in history, OTD, 1961, President John F. Kennedy sends a letter to Congress in which he recommends the United States participate in an international campaign to preserve ancient temples and historic monuments in the Nile Valley of Egypt on this day in 1961. Fact or fact? You ready? The Borneo Bay cat is one of the rarest wild cats in the world. It was not captured on film until 2009. That's crazy. And that is your Fader Fact. Tonight, very special guest right here, Flat Earth Dave. We're going to be discussing if Flat Earth is still a thing. Yeah, man. It's going to be a great night. Now, once again, I need to hit this River Moon Coffee, rivermoonwellness.com. The links for everything are up in social media right now because I just posted earlier tonight, right before the show, my new delivery of Fade to Black blend. I like my coffee, Doc. I do. I got to tell you, man, I get a case of coffee like that, and you could just smell, man. You know, I wonder what the delivery person is, you know, because you know it's smelling up the whole truck, right? They can smell the coffee. You know that, right? And they get to the delivery part, they pull the, you know, it's just wafting outside in the summer breeze, wafting. All right. rivermoonwellness.com. So, So last night, I was talking about a guy who some call the king of conspiracy. Well, time to share some real-life drama. A true conspiracy that just revealed itself. And I assure you, my good and faithful listener, everything I'm about to say is true. I love hanging out with my birds and my hummingbirds. Every day I make sure that the feeders are full. Fresh water put out into the bird bath. Do it every day. I've got the right mix for the hummingbird nectar. I'm a chef with that stuff. By the way, I've got the hummingbird nectar down. They love me. In the front yard, under a big tree, I have 2 round heavy metal stands. You like the way I did that? Anyway, the short one has the bird bath sitting on it. And the taller one, a heavy wood and metal basket for the bird seed. All right. A couple of weeks ago, we had some rain and crazy winds. And in the morning, I went outside, front porch, and I saw that the bird seed tray was flipped over on the ground. And I go over and I pick it up and I think to myself, damn, man, this thing's pretty heavy. But yeah, the winds were nuts last night. Must have blown off. So I scoop up the bird seed out of the lawn, out of the grass, and I put it back in the thing, and I put the tray back on the stand. A couple of days later, more wind and rain. And in the morning, there is the seed tray again, flipped over on the lawn when I got up. And so same thing, I walk out, I scoop up the bird seed, and I replace it, put the tray back up on the stand. A few days go by, and it's really nice outside. It's really nice. One of those days, the sun is out, it's warm, perfect day. And I jump in the Jeep and I head out. I had to do some stuff, and it was a beautiful day, man. Got the stereo on, singing to myself in the car, some Hall & Oates. And when I get back home about an hour later, I'm pulling in the driveway, and there's the tray flipped over on my lawn on a perfect windless sunny afternoon. Right? It's like wash, rinse, repeat, right? I'm out there scooping up the seeds, And it happened twice again last week. Today, I filled up the seed tray and went and sat down on my front porch. I got out my phone, checking my email. When it happened, this big, fat squirrel climbs down the tree. He's pointing to the ground. He's hanging on the side of the tree, chewing on bark. Right in front of me, man. And he looks at me for a second. He looks right at me. Jumps off the tree, onto the ground, goes up, takes a drink of water from the bird bath. He can reach it. He's standing up on his hind legs, right? Cute. He's cool. And I'm just kind of watching, I'm like, okay. And he takes another look at me. He's looking at me. He spins around, looking at me in my eyes, and puts his hands on the seed tray, looking at me. With both hands, pulls it down onto the ground and flips it over. And then literally jumps in the air and pounces his face into the pile of birdseed. I couldn't believe it. I loved it, and here it is, right? Another conspiracy exposed. Figure that one out. But this one has been shut down. I went back in the house. I got my roll of 3M double sticky foam tape. That birdseed tray will be stuck to that stand for 1,000 years. I guarantee it. Some archaeologist is going to dig it up 1,000 years from now when they discover Palmdale after a nuclear winter. That thing is never getting flipped over again. I am the king of conspiracy. And before I go, I want to talk about flat Earth for a second. I love a great conspiracy. And it doesn't matter what it is. I would go and watch these videos. This is years ago, man. I would watch videos of people talking about their secret knowledge of man, I used to go back and listen to the secret knowledge of, and it doesn't matter what it is. It just doesn't matter. And I would go and there used to be this guy, I can't remember his name right now, but he knew about like the last 2 billion years, the history of the universe and different planets and races and who did what and who came here and who was on Earth, 3 billion years ago and 2 billion years ago and this and it was, and I would just like, give me more, right? I'm into it. And I just like the challenge. I do. I enjoy it. Flat Earth comes along. And I mean, even the hollow Earth, right? Okay, I can appreciate that. I can. Flat Earth was different for me. I never took the bait. I didn't. I never got reeled in. What was more fascinating to me about flat Earth was how so many did. So many did. Where are they today? Are they at a flat Earth self-help group, right? Or is it growing? Haven't heard much about it lately. And that's why Flat Earth Dave is here. Tonight we're going to discuss if the flat Earth is still a thing. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black on the Game Changer and UnX Networks. Race Hobbs. This is Fade to Black. I'll be right back after this short break with our guest, and I'm so happy that Flat Earth Dave could reschedule from Tuesday until tonight. He is here. We'll do Fader Night next week. I'll be right back after this short break with Flat Earth Dave. Stay with me.
This is Nicole Church, daughter of you-know-who, and you're listening to Fade to Black on JimmyChurchRadio.com and the Game Changer Network.
You're listening to Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the X.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net.
Introducing the Game Changer blend from River Moon Coffee that delivers a customized blend made specifically for the Fadernauts. If the game is rigged, change the game. It's a bolder cup with some bite. Game Changer is the coffee of choice for those that prefer an organic dark roast that is slightly lighter and milder, but it's still dark. with wild notes of pecans and chocolate with a rich, balanced, full-bodied cup that is roasted to perfection for a great coffee to start your day, as an after-dinner coffee or anywhere in between. Artisan, small batch roasted to perfection. USDA certified organic, all River Moon coffee is freshly roasted and packaged in the USA. Just go to rivermooncoffee.com or click on the banners over on our site and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. rivermooncoffee.com.
This is the only way forward.
This is Fade to Black. Make contact.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and you can get our podcast for just $2 per month. All you have to do is click on the podcast banner over at jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, folks. It's troubling times, and fear is pushing emotions, which in turn pushes health the wrong direction. Do you ever get an ache because life is uneasy? Try Life Change Tea at getthetea.com. Life Change Tea works on your digestive tract, helping to move food through quicker and comfortably so your health is spot on. Life Change Tea may not help with world issues, but it will help with your digestive issues. A glass a day helps keep the intruders away. So, change your life today. Log on to getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. If your health game is off, get on by ordering Life Change Tea. Getthetea.com. And while you're on our site, look around at the great non-GMO organic supplements. And if you're a sales shopper, go to our specials page and see what's for you. I've been drinking the tea for 12 years, and I'm sure glad for its health benefits. Again, that's getthetea.com. Getthetea.com. The tea that makes you go.
Do you have an interest in the paranormal? Then you'll love the unxnetwork.com. The X is your streaming audio and video for everything supernatural, strange, and mysterious, like UFOs, Bigfoot, ghosts, and so much more. From hosts like Jimmy Church, Whitley Strieber, Micah Hanks, and Christina Gomez. Visit the unxnetwork.com show page for a complete list of all the paranormal programs you'll find on the X. Be sure to follow us on Twitter for updates at KUNXDB. Follow our Facebook group, UnX Network. Find the podcast on Spotify, iHeart, Audible, and Apple Podcast. It's time.
It's new.
It's the X.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Flat Earth Dave is here. He's going to join us for a spirited night of discussion with the title, Is Flat Earth Still a Thing? I'm ready. Are you? Dave Weiss is a businessman who walked away from his very own successful company to pursue spreading the truth about our world. He is the host of the Flat Earth Podcast and creator of the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock App. You can check that out too as well. He has the amazing ability to take anyone from ridiculing the idea of the flat earth to the mind-blowing understanding that we don't live on a spinning, wobbling, rocketing water ball in an infinite space vacuum. He also explains why this topic is the most important topic of these troubled times. His website is right there. It is called theflatearthpodcast.com. We've got the links up in social media and over on the website. And I would like to welcome for the first time to Fade to Black Flat Earth Dave Weiss. Dave, how are you?
Jimmy, thanks for having me. How's it going?
It's been
6 years since you had Mark Sargent on.
Has it been 6 years?
It's been 6 years, 2016.
Wow, it is 2022. Yeah. Okay, it felt about that long. And before we get started, Dave, you get the first-time guest disclaimer. And so let's get that out of the way, which is, Dave, it's just you and I sitting on my couch having a conversation as friends, and Where that conversation starts, it starts. Where it ends, but we're going to end as friends. There you go.
100%, no doubt.
Yeah, man. This is going to be great. And actually, I'm going to do things backwards tonight. I'm going to ask you the last question first. Okay?
Wow.
You ready?
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Hit me.
Why? Yeah. No. That's question number 2. What would it take to convince you that the Earth is a globe?
Yeah, to show me any proof of curvature, to show me any proof of an axial rotation. Those 2 things right there would do it. And every test that's been done by scientists throughout all of history to prove either one of those has proven the opposite. Qualified, real scientists have done certified, and peer-reviewed tests, and they've proved the opposite. But those are never taught in school. Those are hidden from us.
Okay, we'll get to that in a second. Okay. I don't know if that answers the question, though. Okay, let me ask you a different way. What would it take for you to? What would you see? Not something on paper. What would it take? What visual proof would it take to convince you that the Earth is a globe?
Well, there's a couple of things we could do, but a visual proof would be to show a ship disappearing from the bottom up over calm water, over a frozen lake, something disappearing according to globe math. Because first they tell us we see ships disappearing from the bottom up. Then they tell us the Earth is too big to see the curvature, no matter what height we go at. And so every time we get up higher and higher, they move the globe post a little farther and farther. So did you know that on a 24,901 mile around ball, which they tell us we're on, that the curvature should be at 3 miles, should be 6 feet. So that means a 6 foot tall person standing on the edge of a frozen lake or calm water should not be able to see the surface of that ice or water past 3 miles because it's below 6 feet. But the problem is we can see much farther. We can see things that should be miles below the curvature. We have Navy and military people that say that they shoot these rail guns. They target things 100 miles away. 100 miles away. What's the curvature at 100 miles? It's over a mile of curvature. Mm-hmm. But they can laser pinpoint other boats on the surface of the water over 100 miles away. Mm-hmm. Sonar, submarines at the bottom of the ocean can see another submarine 100 miles away. There's a mountain over 6,000 feet tall in between them if the Earth was a globe.
Mm-hmm. 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 And you know what's interesting? As you say all of that, I am able to understand that logically, not your point. I'm talking about the other side of the fence. That a rail gun pinpointing something 100 miles away over a mile differential of the curvature. Yeah, okay, I could see that. There are reasons for that. But let me get back to your first point. Mm-hmm. This is what, and I brought this up, and I'm sure you listened to it with Mark Sargent. When I was a kid, now I'm going back to 1978, okay? How many years is that? I don't know.
A million?
Yeah, it's a while ago. But I was like 15 years old, okay? And I lived in Panama, not just before Flat Earth, before anything, before I even I knew anything about myself, right? Okay, I'm just a kid. I'm 15. But I lived on this at the entrance of the Panama Canal on the Pacific side, an army base called Fort Amador. And Fort Amador was unique in that it was an island that was connected to the mainland. They filled it in with dirt from the Panama Canal and rocks that they dug, and they built this artificial island, and they built 3 more, and they connected a causeway to it that was 3.5 miles long. All of this I could see from my house, okay? And so from the other side of the island, which was, I don't know, a couple hundred yards from my house, I could go out to the edge of the Panama Canal and watch the ships roll by. And this is where it gets interesting. I would watch the ships enter and exit the Panama Canal, huge freighters. Off in the distance, 8 miles away or something, was an island called Toboga. And you could take a ferry from there where I lived and cruise out to this island called Toboga. They had a hotel, they had a beach, they had shark nets, and you went out there to party, do whatever, Toboga. And so from my house, I could look out at Toboga, and then next to Toboga, I could see 2 or 3 ships with the anchors dropped, waiting to go into the Panama Canal.
At 8 miles away.
It's right in front of me. Okay.
Was it 8 miles?
Between 0 and 8 miles. You know, between me and Toboga.
There's a big difference. At 0,
but
no
hold on. That's not even the point. Okay.
Right,
okay. So what I'm saying is, Dave, follow me. Look at me. Look at me. I could see boats waiting to come into the Panama Canal. Okay. I jump on the ferry one day with some friends, and we're going to go out to Toboga Island and spend the day. And we're cruising out on the ferry, and I'm on the front of the boat and excited, you know, going to Toboga. And as we're cruising, I see popping up in front of me another ship. And I was like, oh, wow, there's another ship waiting to go into the Panama Canal. We keep cruising. I see another one. I see another one. I see another one. They're all popping up. I see another one. I see another 100%. One. I see another one. And all of a sudden, I look and see a frigging parking lot of freighters.
100%.
And you can go right now to Google Earth, look at Panama, look at Fort Amador. You can see Toboga Island, and you can see behind Toboga Island 50 freighters waiting to go through the Panama Canal.
Let me explain.
Hold on. Just let me give you my point here. I knew nothing about those boats being out there, and I could see Toboga Island every single day. And at the horizon, which is 12 miles, which is behind Toboga, that's why I couldn't see those boats. And there's no way that anybody's going to convince me that between me and those boats, it was flat, and that I should have seen said boats out there at 12 miles.
So do you know what the Riley criteria is? It has to do with the angular resolution limits of your eyes. As things go away, they get smaller and smaller. And then as they go below 0.02 degrees in arc size, they're still there, but they're unseeable. You can zoom in on them with the super zoom camera. Today's optics have outgrown their lives. You get a Nikon P900 or P1000, you can zoom in on an empty horizon and see 100 ships that weren't there. And then the other problem is they disappear from the bottom up based on atmospheric conditions and a little bit of water, a little bit of waves. A small wave 2 miles away from you will block an entire ship that's 8 miles away from you. Okay, you won't be able to see it. You won't be able to see the wave. It'll look like a smooth horizon. But as you approach it, the bottoms of the ships will appear from the top down. And as you go away, they'll disappear from the bottom up. And so saying this, interesting, you have to really think about it, but there's tons of videos that, this is what got me into flat Earth. I like ships over the horizon. I live on the water. I've seen it. I told the same story that you just told. And then I said, wait a minute. They're showing that you can zoom back in. If a boat goes over a physical horizon, there's no amount of zoom that you can zoom in and bring it back because it would be behind something physical. But on a globe Earth, you're required to have a physical horizon. If something disappears over a physical horizon, you can't see it anymore because it's gone. But on a flat Earth, it's an optical horizon, and just by increasing the size of that, the angular size of what you think is a horizon, you can now see farther and see more things. So I said, all right, I'm not going to believe a bunch of stupid videos on YouTube. I'm going to go out and do it myself. Spent $1,000, bought a tripod, bought a P900, went down to the beach. I zoomed in on a buoy that was 11 miles away. I rounded down to 10 because it wasn't quite 11. At 10 miles, there should be 66 feet of curvature. I'm sitting a foot off the water on a calm morning, and I can see this entire buoy that's no higher than 10 feet. So then I said, something's wrong with the curvature formula. And I went to all the debunking sites, and they're like, oh, the curvature formula, the object you're looking at is in the middle of the hump, so it's only half of that distance, which is absolutely wrong, but I'll give it to you because you can have it. 33 feet of curvature, I can still see a 10-foot buoy. Okay. I can't see it with my naked eye. If I got on my boat and went to it, it would appear from the bottom up, but I can zoom in and see it. So where can you see these videos? If you Google flat Earth curvature, horizons, boats, you're going to get propaganda because the algorithm is to hide YouTube. Hide anything that has to do with flat Earth. Any real video on flat Earth will have a disclaimer under it. Flat Earth has been discredited, 2,000 years ago. It's an archaic belief. Nonsense, nonsense, nonsense. On my app, the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app, go there, hit the frequently asked questions, hit the button that says ships over the horizon. There's 100 videos that break it down for you, explain it to you, and then still don't believe that. Go verify it yourself. That's science.
And I find all of this interesting and very intriguing. My eyes, I'm not concerned about a lens, a curvature of a lens, a modern Nikon, an old Pentax single lens reflex that was purchased in Japan in 1965. It doesn't. But my eyes tell me one thing. And before I get into math or, arguments on both sides, I
don't live on a math equation. Go ahead.
You know what I'm saying, though? I go back to my eyes.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Just one quick thing.
Sure.
You trust your eyes. It doesn't matter if it's a fisheye lens, any kind of lens. If I can zoom in and see it in real time, somebody can wave to me from that distance. That's not a mirage. It's not hiding behind a physical horizon. It's hiding behind an optical horizon. And then there's different types of optical horizons. There's terrestrial optical horizons and there's celestial optical horizons.
There are.
Like the sun and the moon go behind a celestial optical horizon. Just here, I live in Connecticut. And I can look at New York City, and when there's clouds, floaty clouds, cumulus clouds sitting on a cloud deck, they're at 5,000, 10,000 feet above my head. But when I look over at New York City, they're touching the water. Okay? Well, they merge with the horizon. That's as far as I can see. I can zoom in and spread them out and see farther. But when a sun or moon or stars move beyond them, they appear to drop below them simply due to perspective. Again, in my app, there's where does the sun go? Hit that button. And then you'll see that your current beliefs based on what you're seeing are purely due to programming that we've all had since we were children. Since before we can talk, we were programmed to see a ball. Like,
okay, we've got all night to get into this. Okay, but here's another thing for me. Jeff Bezos gives you a ticket on Blue Origin, Blue Origin,
Blue Origin, the penis-looking rocket.
The penis rocket. So he gives you a ticket. You go, right, and you're looking at the Earth, and then you come back with the glass on the capsule's curved. Or whatever it is, right? It's going to be something. But if you're looking at the Earth as a globe yourself from Blue Origin, what's going to be the argument back that you are still seeing the flat Earth?
This one's going to trigger a lot of people and you, and I'll just pose
you don't have to. Hey, Dave, you don't have to worry about triggering me, man. We're just
no
talking.
Worries. What I'm going to say is, an equal question for me to ask you would be, are you afraid of the Roadrunner? What would it take? Would I have to put you in a Bugs Bunny cartoon to make you afraid of the Roadrunner, right? What I'm actually saying there is Jeff Bezos has launched 0 people into the air. Nobody is ever on those rockets. Elon Musk is a 100% total fraud. And I have the proof in a 5-minute video that I'll send you. You can link in the show if you want. It's called Elon Musk Fraud. Anyone that wants it, email me, info@theflatearthpodcast.com. He is a puppet for the controlling elite. The heliocentric system is the matrix.
Okay,
it is a prison for your mind.
Okay, but that doesn't answer my question. If you were launched in a rocket and you were looking back at the Earth, what is it that you are going to argue back that it's still flat when you're seeing a globe?
that it is flat, that the horizon will rise up to my eye level no matter how high I go. We send up balloons without fisheye lenses to 127,000 feet, and the horizon is at the same level as it is when I'm at 10 feet or 100 feet. It rises to eye level. Now, that can only happen on a flat plane. On a globe, the higher you get, the lower your distant horizon could be, because the farther you can see, it should drop and drop and drop. But the horizon rises to eye level. Nobody is up in those rockets. The only person to go up in a rocket is Mad Mike Hughes, who all of the media in the world said, oh my God, this crazy flat earther was trying to prove flat earth and killed himself in a steam-powered rocket.
Right.
That's not true. He was a stunt man that needed $7,000 to do his Evel Knievel jump, and a bunch of flat earthers said, hey, we'll raise the money for you if you put a flat earth billboard on your rocket.
Right.
And then the mainstream media said, this guy, just listen how stupid the world is. All of the mainstream media worldwide ran this article everywhere like it was a coordinated effort somehow, saying crazy flat earther tries to prove flat earth by jumping 1,800 feet. Jumping 1,800 feet. There's buildings higher than 1,800 feet. Okay? Okay? So that was going around, and now the whole world is, oh, you're crazy. You're going to, Mad Mike Hughes killed himself. Mad Mike Hughes was a flat earther, but his rocket jump had nothing to do with flat earth.
It didn't. And you're right. I followed that. All of that happened in my neighborhood here, by the way.
Yeah.
So, but here's the thing, though. This is not third hand. This isn't second hand. I'm telling you that a friend of mine, actually, who was on the show on Monday night, okay, a friend of mine, Peter Takrin, the singer of the band Hypocrisy, launched his own balloon to 100,000 feet with the new record that they just released attached to the balloon with a camera, and to set a world record for the highest record debut in the history of the world, right?
Jimmy, I would love to see it.
Listen to me. This is a friend of mine. This isn't Elon Musk. Okay. And the video is crazy cool. And I got to tell you, Earth looks pretty round in this video. And this is a private venture. This is just a rock and roll heavy metal band.
A couple things.
Had nothing to do with the flat Earth, Dave, by the way.
No, I get it. And that's how most of these balloons go up, and then they get hijacked into proving the globe, which they're not. One is he probably used a GoPro, which has a fisheye lens. So if the payload was swinging around, you'll see the curve of the Earth become convex and concave and flat. It'll go all over the place. That just shows you that it's not. But let's say he didn't even have that, and it was calm and it looked kind of level. What you'll see is the horizon rises up to eye level. Again, it could appear to be lower due to visibility. But here's the problem. Let's say I'm on a little island in the middle of the ocean. It's a perfectly clear day, and there's a certain distance that my eyes can see where the sky, the cloud deck, the atmospheric deck will just merge with the horizon. Let's say that's 10 miles or 100 miles. Doesn't matter. 200 miles. Doesn't matter. I could see, that's as far as my eye can see due to the Rayleigh criteria, the angular resolution limits of my eye. That's as far as I can see. Let's just say it's 100 miles. Okay? And when I'm looking forward to 12 o'clock, that's the distance I can see. At 1 o'clock, I can see 100 miles, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, all the way around. So if you plot that out on a flat Earth, what that is a big circle. It's like putting my head inside of a hula hoop at my eye level, and the edge of the hula hoop is the distance to my horizon. Now, globe programming will see a curve. It'll draw a flat line across that and go, oh, that's the curve of the Earth. But there's no curve of the Earth that way. It doesn't work that way. When you see a boat, going across from you parallel with your eyes, it doesn't dip over a horizon. There would be curves in every direction. That's one where on a globe Earth, you would see the curved horizon. On a flat Earth, you would see a curved horizon. But when I look at the edge of my dining room table, which is a circle, I don't think it's a sphere. It's just the edge of the table, which is curved. It's the limit of my vision.
Yeah. Very interesting. I'm listening to all of this. I'm taking it all in. There's we're going to take a break here in 4 minutes. Here's another thing that I find interesting. I'm a big student of astronomy, our universe, science, physics. I have a lot of scientists and physicists on the show, and we discuss things all the time. And I am looking at, in fact, I'm doing presentations this year on this, at all of these absolute billions of photographs that have been taken from satellites and from Earth observatories of our universe and of galaxies and of stars and of planets and everything. Every single celestial object is round. And are we so egotistical to think that we are the only flat celestial object in the known universe, which has 1 trillion galaxies with 1 trillion stars in each galaxy, and each star has at least one planet, and that number is this long, round planets.
With small numbers, too. I get it. This is a cool story, and my normal statement is cool story, bro. This is all coming from NASA, which can have been 100%
not coming from NASA. I have a telescope in my living room.
But wait, hold on a second. When you're looking at a light in the sky, it looks like a sphere. Again, in my videos, in every video interview I do, I show some things that look like spheres. I'm like, is this a sphere? And it's not a sphere. Okay. When you're looking at something in the distance, it looks like a sphere. Nobody has ever proven that any of the luminaries in the sky, celestial objects, sun, moon, and stars, are actually even physical, or how big they are, or how far they are. We're brainwashed into NASA just today announced they found new planets. They find new planets every other week, right?
They do every day.
But look at all of the images and then read the bottom. It says visual representation, NASA visual artist. None of them are they never use the word photograph. They never use the word picture. No, they use the word picture. Photograph. They use the word picture because a picture could be a painting, but they never use the word photograph because there's none. NASA admits they have no photographs of Earth. They admit that. Okay, anyone listening now, Google latest picture of Pluto and look at the desert that's on there. It looks like the dog Pluto. Okay, all right. It's from Disney, which was created the same year they discovered Pluto. There's so much deception. It's so big. It's hard to see. Again, Googling this stuff, other than the picture from NASA, you're not going to find any relative information. The best place to find it is in my app. You can find it at flatearthdave.com. The links are there, flatearthdave.com. Check it out. And I'm not here to sell apps, Jimmy. I'm here to wake up people because this is literally the heliocentric model is the Matrix. It's a prison for your mind. And think of your Neo at the beginning of the movie or Neo at the end of the movie when he's unplugged from the heliocentric system.
I'm Neo in the middle of the movie. We need to take a break. We need to take a break right here. This is Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Flat Earth Dave is here. And I need to find out if Flat Earth is still a thing. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black. We'll be right back after this short break. Stay with us.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network.
Your 1 million gigawatt paranormal powerhouse, KUNX-DB, the X.
This is Billy Carson, founder and CEO of ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. ForbiddenKnowledge.tv is the fastest growing and one of the most watched networks in the world. I would like to personally invite you to check out our expanding library of TV, film, lectures, and special presentations. ForbiddenKnowledge.tv has over 6,000 videos covering lost history, health, UFOs, spirituality, and our future. We are committed to our community, and with my personal invitation, you can, right now, get your free 30-day membership at ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. Your own library of information starts today at ForbiddenKnowledge.tv.
Because you never got that pony you always wanted. Damn it. Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network.
Listen, I know, and you know, that you've always wanted your first crystal skull. Or maybe you're a collector just like me, but you just don't know where to go to find the real thing. Then I met Carolyn Ford over at EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com. Carolyn is the guardian of Einstein, one of the most respected ancient crystal skulls in the world. All of her unique skulls have been imprinted sitting with Einstein in his sacred lodge and are carved from the finest gemstone and materials. Imprinting is the process of receiving the ancient wisdom from the master skull or master computer, Einstein, the ancient crystal skull. To see Carolyn's current collection of crystal skulls, just visit her store at EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com or click on the banner over on our site. Don't forget to use the promo code Jimmy at checkout to receive 10% off of your order today. That's promo code Jimmy. Finding your first or next crystal skull is easy. Just visit EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com.
Hi, Race Hobbs with the X. Obviously, if you're listening to this, you have an interest in unexplained phenomena like ghosts, Bigfoot, and UFOs. And by now, you know that we have our own X blog, the UnX newsletter, and the UnX magazine quarterly. But most of you don't know that we have started our very own paranormal conference. And this year, for safety, this 2-day X-Con will be virtual, so you can attend from the comfort of your home. X-Con presenters include Whitley Strieber, Micah Hanks, Margie Kay and Preston Dennett, Lisa Martin and Wayne Lawrence, Lee Spiegel, Debbie Zagelmeyer, Dan Terry, Kate Grabowski, and Ray Hernandez. There will also be a live paranormal investigation by the Riverside, Iowa Paranormal Team. So come hang out with us in the safety of home as we set out to explain the unexplained Friday, May 13th and Saturday the 14th, 2022. And tickets are on sale now. Go to unxnetwork.com. That's unxnetwork.com.
Hello, I'm Katie, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Race Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to jimmychurchradio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And this is Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. We're also Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And I'm Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. And you're listening to Jimmy Church. The Revolution.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and you can become an official Fadernaut by just going to our membership section at jimmychurchradio.com.
Hello, this is Serena Wright Taylor from Conscious Life Expo, and you're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church, who holds the Lucky Pony record for the best astrological chart since 1963. True story.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black.
Welcome back. Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Flat Earth Dave is here, David Weiss. And I haven't done the Flat Earth show, I guess, since 2016 with Mark Sargent. I didn't realize it had been that long. And I guess one of the reasons why Flat Earth, certainly in our community, just kind of fell off the radar. It came and went. And Dave, here's my comment about that. This community, which falls under a lot of the disclosure community, the conspiracy community, UFO community, lost history, all the things that we talk about on this show, Antarctica, Atlantis, for example. We have very open minds here because we have been fighting the establishment every step of the way. And Flat Earth came into this community And it was a thing for a minute, and we talked about it, and it was all fun for us to sit and debate. But it phased out of this community, and inside of this community, I think it kind of divided people because there are open minds out there that wanted the information, and there's another half of this community that was like, "Come on, I'll go with reptilians running the world." I can buy into that, but flat Earth, I'm not going there. And it's a very interesting consideration. But here's the thing with that: is this: if flat Earth, if the Earth is flat, that would mean that every person in law enforcement, every teacher, everybody in religion, everybody in politics, every scientist, every librarian. Everybody in the history of everything would be in on it. Somebody would have.
I have to interrupt. I know every single objection you're going to make.
I
everything
understand.
you've said so far, and this is all pre-programmed into us. Every pilot would know. Every politician would know. Every police officer would know. They don't. However, many pilots do. We're talking to many pilots. There's whistleblowers. There's a new documentary that came out called "Behind the Curve," "Flatten the Curve," not "Behind the Curve." Flatten the Curve. And again, it's hard to find, but it's out there. It's also on my app. And it's about a bunch of military whistleblowers explaining how their weapon systems, how everything they do only works on a flat Earth. There's FAA documents that have been declassified that talk about all of the test and military documents, how all of the modeling they do, they use a flat, non-rotating plane. Now, that doesn't sound like a spinning, wobbling globe in a space vacuum. It's a flat, non-rotating plane. We're going to get into some technical stuff here, and maybe in the next segment we can get into some stuff that supports all of your aliens, extraterrestrials, the secret space program. All of that stuff works perfectly better on a flat Earth, and it's impossible on a globe. And we'll get into it, which has a little bit of math, but it's super easy.
Okay.
And just when you understand the nonsensical model of the helio-nonsensical system, once you see it, you'll wonder, how did I ever believe this? Because it's so ridiculous.
Yeah,
but the lie is so big, Jimmy, with all the news every day, NASA this, NASA that, Elon Musk this, Jeff Bezos that. It's nonsense.
Well, but somebody should have cracked by now.
There are people cracking, and there was a couple years ago, a Polish astronaut said, he was asked, "Is the Earth flat?" And he said, "Yes, it's flat. I could assure you, no one's been to space." He's nowhere to be found. There are many celebrities, big celebrities that have their own TV shows. They're on board. They're talking to us, but they're not public yet. They're coming. They're waiting. They say, "Keep going, keep going." Now, when you say, is flat Earth the thing? We're having all through this entire pandemic, we've had conferences. We have another big conference coming up in October in South Carolina called Flattoberfest, linked in the app, of course. And there's so many people showing up. On my app, I have a fairly new feature called the Friend Finder. And I'd say 20% of the app users have signed up for the Friend Finder, right? We have pushing 55,000 people on the Friend Finder, okay? And the people that are flat earthers that have my app are a small fraction of the number of flat earthers out there.
I can believe that.
They did a poll in Brazil last year, and they said ask people, Earth flat, round, don't know, and 11 million people said it's not a globe. Okay. Now, last thing,
sure.
Flat is not a shape. Flat is a description of horizontal and level. Okay, there are mountains, there are valleys, but large bodies of water at rest lay flat. Large bodies of water at rest need a container. Real quick, we're not a disk floating in space. You Google images of flat Earth, you're going to see a disk floating in space with water going off. That's mind control, right? Flat Earth is like this. After a rainstorm, Jimmy, where does the water accumulate? At the top of a hill? No, follow me through on this. Okay. The water accumulates in the low spot in the land, and the edge of the puddle is where the land is consistently higher than the water, and that contains the puddle. Yeah. Water needs lateral resistance to stay in a body. So think of a pond. A pond, what contains the pond? Well, it's the land all the way around the pond that contains the water. If you took a bulldozer and lowered one part of the pond lower than the surface of the water is going to flow out and look for its next resting point.
Because of of gravity.
No, hold on. We'll get into that in a moment. Right. So a lake is a bigger pond.
Okay.
There's Lake Balaton in up north. I forget where it was. We went there when it was frozen, and they did a laser test. We could see. I think they did one at 30 miles or something, and the curvature is ridiculous. We could see the source of the laser. There is no curvature at the Bolivian salt flats. There is no curvature. It's flat, and the bottom of the ocean, the abyssal plain, it's all flat. No curvature. And then when you say gravity, that's a whole other topic.
No, I'm going to say on what you just. Well, hold on. Yeah. Okay. Take a breath. Okay. Let's go back. You said you went to a lake and observed the point source of the laser. What was the altitude of the lake?
Doesn't matter the altitude.
No,
the altitude, water lays flat at a mile high or sea, whatever.
But that's not my question. What was the altitude of the lake?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
All right.
I wasn't there. There was other flat earthers in our community that were there. I was just finishing my story. Think of the world, all of the oceans, as a giant pond. Now, they tell us Antarctica is an island, a continent at the bottom of the ball. They also do tell us some truth. Antarctica is the highest land on Earth. I always found that funny. I'm like, wow, maybe that's why it's at the bottom, because it's higher and it's making the Earth top heavy, right? It's kind of silly, but in reality, Antarctica is the shoreline of our world pond, right? When you hear about the ice wall, you think Game of Thrones. That's not the ice wall. The Antarctica is the shoreline of our ocean. So if you went in a straight line in any direction, you'd end up hitting Antarctica. That's south. And when you get to Antarctica, the plateau is 200 feet over your head. Okay? That is the container of the world's pond. Now, what's in Antarctica? If you kept going away from the water, away from the center of Earth, the north, we don't know because it's off limits. 1959, Admiral Byrd discovered more land bigger than the United States, filled with no human has ever been there, filled with resources that could power the whole world. And in a time when we're at wars, fighting for resources, they go up Antarctic Treaty, and all the countries in the world sign on to a treaty that's still in place today, can't even be questioned till the year 2041.
Sure.
Where we could deforest the Amazon. Makes no sense.
I agree about Antarctica being the big secret, and I think that there's something going on down there, south at the bottom of the globe.
Out there.
but what you're this is I look at this from every view that I can, trying to break through so I can go, okay, I get the flat earth. I haven't been able to do that yet, not even close. But here's the thing. What you are suggesting is that Copernicus and Galileo were wrong 600 years ago.
Okay, so here's the other thing.
Before
Copernicus, Galileo, Aristophanes, all of these guys are not real. They're made up stories, right? Copernicus with his little telescope was able to see details on Mars that we can't see today with the best optics. Okay, it's all a made up story. I don't know if you've looked into Tatari yet, but there was a world. This is not a conspiracy theory. It's the how it happened or when it ended is the question. But in the late 1800s, early 1900s, there was a worldwide advanced civilization living here, building buildings that we can't build today, putting up obelisks that we can't even move with today's biggest cranes. Okay, and these were back when we had horses and buggies. They're everywhere. They're in every city.
You are correct. Yes.
Yeah. So saying that some guy 2,000 years ago discovered this because you read it in a book, it's nonsense. Eratosthenes 2,000 years ago in Greece, the sticks and shadows guy who figured out the tilt of the Earth. Carl Sagan drilled it in everyone's head in Cosmos in the 1980s, and said it could only work on a curve on a ball Earth, but it's not true. It works perfectly on a flat Earth. It works better on a flat Earth once you understand a small local sun. If you don't know what I'm talking about, get 2 beer bottles or 2 upright things, put them on your table, hold a light directly over one of them, and it'll have no shadow. The other one will have a shadow. According to Carl Sagan, according to Aristophanes, you can do some math that will prove that your table is a sphere. Okay, we don't live on a math equation, and if you have bad data, you get bad answers.
Okay, so I don't know about the Galileo being a made up figure, but Galileo isn't the only one to independently, in the journey of knowledge and discovery, stumbled upon the exact same math on their own. And none of the math suggested that the earth was flat. During a time, and let me make this point, during a time when the Vatican and Catholicism ruled, and one of those suggested in the Bible that the earth was flat, right? And so do you understand what I'm saying? So independently, this was going on with people that didn't have telephones. They were making the same discoveries that Egypt did in 2500 BC.
So you're believing a lot of stories again. Now the Bible itself, and I never use the Bible as proof. The Bible is a flat Earth book. There's over 230 verses in the Bible that talk about a flat, immovable Earth. Page 1 of the Bible, Genesis, God separated the waters from the waters and created the firmament. Wernher von Braun, the alleged Nazi rocket scientist that we brought over here to start NASA, on his gravestone it said Psalms 19:1, which says the glory of God created. It's about the firmament. Right, that's the only thing that's on his gravestone. Why is that? Was he whistleblowing? Was that them revealing the truth to us because they always have to tell us the truth?
Right.
Again, when you look back, I interviewed a woman named Ruth, and you can find this on my channel, DITRH. All my stuff is linked at flatearthdave.com, and there's I interviewed a 102-year-old woman back in February of 2020 and about the World's Fairs. The World's Fairs will blow your mind. It'll show you that all history is a lie. And her memory was so good. And I said to her, I said, Ruth, what did they teach you in elementary school about the earth? That's all I said. Never mentioned anything else. And she goes, they taught me the earth was flat. I was like, whoa. And I started recording. I started recording. And when I told her that it was true and I explained it, literally it brought her to tears. It's a video that went viral. I highly recommend anybody watch it, and it'll blow your mind. So then we found other people that were in, I forget what country, Croatia, that said, in the 1930s, all through the 30s, they were teaching flat Earth in schools. Then, just recently, I was in Mexico. I was speaking to a guy who who said in the 1950s and early 60s, they were teaching flat Earth and globe Earth in public schools here in America. Okay, and then the Rockefeller stepped in, took over everything, and all flat Earth disappeared. The AE map, the map that we use, that is the best representation of the Earth, that globers say, oh, that's just a projection of the globe. We say the globe is the AE map wrapped around a sphere, because that makes actually more sense. That map was in all libraries. It was everywhere. It was in schools. And now you can't find it. It's removed from everywhere. Why are they hiding this information? Why aren't we discussing it? How did NASA's first image of Earth from space match Paramount Pictures' spinning globe from the early 1900s when nobody had gone into space before? All of it is complete and total nonsense. When you look and see, and if you're unsure about NASA, just look into the moon landings. Go on the app, hit What About NASA, and watch the videos there. If we catch people lying once, faking anti-gravity, faking no gravity on the space station, hanging from wires, using green screens, using augmented reality, once you catch them once, that's enough. Everything else is a lie, but we caught them 1,000 times, and we have it all. We have the videos, we have the proof, and we have it from their own mouths.
Now, why hasn't somebody jumped in a boat and gone to the Antarctica wall?
It's the Antarctica shoreline, which is a cliff. There's not a wall that says two sides. There's no other side.
But why hasn't somebody gone to it?
I'll tell you. Because 60 degrees south is when you're heading south, the equator is zero, right? And then when you get to 60 degrees south, which is 1,000 miles from Antarctica, nobody, according to the Antarctic Treaty, is allowed to cross that line. No one is allowed to go bring extra fuel beyond that line, which is very strange.
I just had a friend just get back from Antarctica.
Yeah. So let me explain. But no one is allowed to independently go. If you want to go to Antarctica, there's 100 different companies. You're going to find this interesting. There's 100 different companies that you can book a 3-day tour. You go on the boat. They bring you to to this little peninsula off of Santiago, and they show you some penguins, they show you some ice. Now, this little peninsula that sticks out of Antarctica is bigger than some countries, okay? But it's a little tiny speck of Antarctica. So hold on. So then they don't let you independently go and walk south. They do not. No one is allowed to. And then they kick you out. It'll cost you $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 to do this. But here's the interesting thing. Those 100 companies are all run by the same guy.
Yeah, it's the Rockefellers again. But here's the thing, and those friggin' Rockefellers mess it up for all of us. But that's not the question.
Yeah.
Why hasn't somebody rented a yacht and cruise to the edge of everything? Because they would be the most famous person forever.
So it happened a couple times, and what it is there's no satellites is a whole nother story, but there's a mesh. They have buoys out there that basically create a mesh network that if you go in it, you're tracked immediately. There's 8 islands that are equally spread, one of them being the Falklands Island off of South America. You remember the Falklands War? Why are they fighting over this little island? And they're all around 60 degrees south. They go all around the earth, and they all have military bases on them. Anybody that breaks that 60-degree south line is immediately intercepted with a cruiser, a warship, drones, fighter jets, and they are told to immediately turn around. A bunch of fishermen tried it a couple years ago, and they were just trying to go fishing, and they were booking in there. All of a sudden, a destroyer, a drone, they were hailed upon, radioed. They're like, turn around immediately, leave, restricted water space, right? Like very aggressively. Same thing happened with an airplane pilot. And then somebody a couple years ago, I forget the guy's name, but you can look it up, and it's in the What About Antarctica button on the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. He got permission from his country to go to Antarctica. He went, and when he crossed the 60 degrees, he was stopped by warships. He goes, I have permits. I'm allowed to. And he said, no, you're not. They sent him back home, and when he got home, he was put in jail. Now, if you want to go to Antarctica, and again, we have one of the videos is, sorry, Antarctica's closed. 30-minute video done by a lawyer who spent a long time showing you what it takes to go to Antarctica. If you wanted to independently go to Antarctica and do it legally, you have to apply for all these permits. It would take you about a year to apply.
Can't do it. I
it'll
agree.
cost you up to $2 million.
Sure.
And then you don't get your money back when they say no.
Okay, but here's my question. You have that United Nations map, right?
Yep.
Okay, so there's the flat Earth. You have 360 degrees on the edge of this flat Earth that you can run a boat to. You don't have to go 60 degrees south of the equator. You could go in any degree of any direction. You could go off the coast of Russia and go to Antarctica or the wall. You could do it off of any edge of the 360-degree circle of the flat Earth. You don't have to go 60 degrees. Why hasn't somebody done that? It would be a short boat ride.
Well, what you don't understand is these islands are all over. They're spread all the way around. They're equally spread all the way around. There's one right off of Australia. There's one off of New Zealand. There's one halfway in between south of the West Coast here on America. There's one off of Santiago. There's 2 more before Africa. There's one off of Africa. These are all over the place. They have access. If you go there, you will not make it to Antarctica before you're intercepted. Now, let's say you slip through a place where the boat is, a couple 10,000 miles away. Well, they're going to send a friggin' jet after you. They have, this is done with, this mesh network, and you will be stopped. Here's the other thing. If they let you get there, let's say they just let you go there, okay? There's no fuel, there's no food, there's no cars, there's no gas, there's no nothing. And when you get there, first you have to scale a 200-foot cliff to get up onto a desolate ice plateau. If you go there the wrong time of the year, it's going to be dark the whole time and freezing. Where are you going? How are you going to get there? And then you have another 1,000 miles before you get to a mountain range that has mountains higher than Mount Everest. They have the highest mountains on the earth in Antarctica, but they don't talk about them, right? Maybe it's because the firmament connects down to Antarctica. Maybe. I'm not saying it does or it doesn't. We don't know because we can't go there. Since we're talking about Antarctica and going there, what are they hiding? Are they hiding the firmament? Or maybe Jimmy, they're hiding more land.
Yeah,
What
I agree with that.
What if beyond Antarctica there was another ocean, and then more land? Well, more would be extra. Land would be territory. Extra territory. If somebody lived out there on the extra territory, they might be considered an extraterrestrial from outer space.
Interesting take. I'll buy into that. But like I said, we have off the coast of Australia, I'm looking at your flat Earth map right here. There's got to be a zillion directions to go in off the coast of Australia, off the southern coast of Africa, the southern coast, of course, of Antarctica, and the assortment of islands, and New Zealand, and everything. There is so many different ways to get to the edge of everything, and I just can't believe nobody's done that yet. I understand what you're saying, the mesh network and planes and defense mechanisms. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Dave, but the islands are equally spread all the way around. You can't get through it without being stopped. There's just imagine.
But take a look at your map right there. Look at number 8 and number 1.
Yeah.
Okay, that's like 8,000 miles of open ocean.
Open ocean. What else? What is out there? There's military ships out there. There's military ships out there. Ships float in the ocean. There's submarines out there. There's military everywhere because they can't let this secret out. Literally, if they let this secret out, everyone unplugs from the Matrix and they die.
Now, what if I rented a boat? And you and we've got a 200-foot yacht, and we can cruise around the world anywhere on a single tank of gas, right? And we are gassed up and ready to go. And I take you between number 8 and number 1, and we keep on going, and nothing happens. What would you say?
Well, that's a hypothetical situation that will never happen.
I have the financial ability to do it, though.
we get there. And then, all right, are you going to climb the ice wall and then the cliff to get onto the plateau? And then where are we going? We have to go another 1,000 miles without any food, water, power, fuel, nothing.
But it would be a great live stream.
No, you can't live stream because there's no connections out there. And then how are you going to navigate? Compasses don't work there, and there's no GPS, and there's no sun. How are you going to navigate?
I'm going to take my directions from you. You've got the you've got the map. We just need to go in that direction. Hey, Dave, we got to take a break right here. This is an excellent conversation, and when we come back, let's discuss some gravity, because I think the Earth sucks. Okay, so let's discuss gravity when we come back. Our guest tonight, Flat Earth Dave. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this short break.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
You're listening to Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the X.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and this year, June 18th, 2022, the Disclosure Fest Foundation presents the Mass Meditation Initiative. It's Saturday, June 18th from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., one day only at the Los Angeles State Historic Park in downtown Los Angeles, California, right next to Chinatown. I'm hosting the event again this year with music performances by Trevor Hall, The Desert Dwellers, pour on ghee, and many, many more on 4 separate stages. There's 16 stages in total, over 30 acres in downtown Los Angeles, with vendors and tents and presentations and workshops with Billy Carson, Adam Apollo, Lori Spagna, Laura Eisenhower, Brad Olson, David Palmer, and many, many more. It's all simple to do. Just go to disclosurefest.org for all of your tickets, information, and a full schedule of the day's events. Again, disclosurefest.org. Do you want to be an official Fade or Not? Of course you do. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black. Just go to our membership section at jimmychurchradio.com. Fade or Nots. When you think about the future of our country and where we're headed, do you wonder about the food supply? I do. Disruptions in the food supply chain could be disastrous, and they usually occur with little warning. That's why the smartest thing you can do today is to stockpile emergency food, water, and other essentials. I personally recommend My Patriot Supply. They're the nation's largest emergency preparedness company, serving millions of customers for more than a decade. In fact, they're the only source my family trusts for our preparedness plan. You should too. Right now, save 20% off a full 4-week supply of delicious meals that provide 2,000 calories a day. Saving 20% helps too, doesn't it? Especially now. So go to preparewithjimmy.com and get ready. That's preparewithjimmy.com. There's no time to lose. Do it now.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
You listen to us, and we listen to you. And so does the CIA.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Welcome back. Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Flat Earth Dave is with us. We're talking about, is Flat Earth still a thing? I need to know. I need to know what's going on. And if I learn something tonight, so will the rest of you. And we didn't get into some Flat Earth basics. We'll do that in the next segment. Just some fundamental things. But gravity. This is confusing to me, and I've seen so many different explanations from flat earth theorists on this subject. Explain to me how gravity works, Dave.
Yeah, so are we talking Newtonian or Einsteinian gravity? Most people don't even know what that is. First, they were telling us that it was mass that attracts mass, but they've recently just changed that to Einsteinian gravity, which is the bending of space-time. And they show us like a cannonball laying on a sheet and then a whole bunch of balls rolling around that. Well, what makes that sheet bend in one direction? How come it doesn't bend sideways or up?
You're talking about two different things, though.
But they don't even know what gravity is. They admit gravity is just a theory. They don't know how it works.
Absolutely. I have had many physicists on this show, and any physicist will tell you they don't know. They can't. They don't know what gravity is.
it's 96% made up and the other 4% is not true. Okay. So what is gravity? Well, the Earth has a testable, measurable negative charge to it. Absolutely not a theory. You can stick a reader into the ground and it has this negative charge. The Earth does not move. It's not rising at 9.8 meters per second like they want you to think flat earthers think gravity happens, but that's not true. So you have a negative charge. Now, the sky, the dome, the air has a positive charge to it. Anything when it leaves the surface of the Earth is now surrounded in that positive charge. And the negative floor, which is not moving, not rising, not moving, says, hey, it's attracting that positively charged thing. And it says down is this way, and it's a very weak force. However, it's thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of times more stronger than the alleged gravitational force. This is a testable, measurable, scientifically provable force. Okay. So it says down is this way, and then buoyancy and density sort everything else out. If I had a handful of marbles, ping pong balls, and a helium balloon, and I held them over a pool or body of water, I open my hand, the balloon's going to go up because it's lighter than the air surrounding it. The marbles and the ping pong balls will drop. The marbles will go to the bottom of the pool, and the ping pong balls will stay on the top. Buoyancy and density sort everything else out. Now, if you look at the electric potential of every single atom going from the lightest, which is hydrogen, to the heaviest, which I don't know the name of it, its positive charge is greater and greater and greater the heavier it is, which makes it more dense, which makes it more attracted to the Earth. Now, how can we prove this is true? Well, MIT just created an airplane with no moving parts, Jimmy. No moving parts. No propellers, no jets, no nothing. And it floats on what they call the ionic wind. Mm-hmm. Okay? Mm-hmm. That perfectly works well with a electrostatic gravity, electrostatic force. You ever see those little triangle tinfoil things? They put a negative charge into it, it rises up into the air. Mm-hmm. It goes right up, and that's because it's negative charge. It's negative charge. We did an experiment ourselves. One of our flat earthers YouTube channel is Good Times for All. Good Tims for All. He has a electrostatic generator, and we got a wire. We hooked it up to just a little. It was actually just a metal button, and we tied some helium balloons to it, and we just let it find its neutral point. So it was hanging, a few inches off the floor. The helium balloons are holding it up, and we cranked up the negative charge. And positive charge, we cranked the positive charge into it. As it got more positive charge, bam, it went right down to the floor. And when we discharged it, it went back up in the air. We changed its weight by changing its electric potential. That has nothing to do with gravity. That has everything to do with the electromagnetic force. These are testable things. Oh, at 1 meter in the air, there's 100 volts. 2 meters in the air, there's 200 volts. It goes up by 100 volts every meter, conveniently. Okay? There's so much free energy in the air, and the Tatarians knew this. If you look at all the architecture from back when we had horses and buggies building crap that we couldn't even build now, it's all towers and domes and Antiquitech, which had free energy technology. Tesla proved that at the World's Fairs. They lit up the World's Fairs without wires. They lit it up like we couldn't light it up today. All of this is being hidden from us. Jimmy, you can't control people unless you control their food, their energy, where they live, their freedom of movement. We're in a world of tyranny right now. Why the hell am I talking about flat Earth? Because flat Earth is the matrix. It's a prison for your mind. When you wake up to the truth of our world, now we have tons of questions. We don't know exactly how this place works, but we know absolutely positively that it's not a spinning ball in place. And when you wake up for this, the tens of thousands of us that are on the app, there's millions and millions and millions of us. All of us have unplugged from the matrix, and we realize that nobody controls us. The only control anyone has over you is in your imagination, right? And that's the beautiful thing about the good news is, in this world, we have free will, right? That's a whole nother topic. We can kind of get into it, but they're not allowed to break it. They are allowed to tell us what they're doing in their roundabout ways. And if we don't say no, we're saying yes. And if they can't take our freedom away, we have to give it to them. We have to agree to be locked down. We have to agree to all of this stuff. And they literally fool us into this. This is why I'm talking about this, because if everyone wakes up to this reality that we're not on a spinning ball, the matrix collapses, their control collapses, and we place ourselves back at the center of creation. Jimmy, personal question. What's your view on, for lack of a better word, God or creator?
I've got 50 answers to that. I do believe that that DNA is mathematically just nearly impossible to be natural or an accident.
That's good. So let's just stop there. And the thing is, in Flat Earth, there's a lot of really strong religion. There's a lot of Catholics, Christians, and get a group of people anywhere, any group, there's always going to be, there's Christians, there's Jews, there's Muslims, they're everywhere. And I say your relationship with the creator is your relationship. You don't have to tell anyone about it. But before I discovered Flat Earth, I was a happy atheist, I guess, because I didn't really believe in anything. I believed in the Big Bang. I believed in evolution. And then when I realized what this world is, and I'm like, wow, this is intelligently designed. Therefore, there's a creator. Now, who it is, why, where, what, all of that doesn't matter. That's a whole nother story. But there's a creator. We are at the center of creation. They want to, and we're very safe here. And there's more land, there's more food, there's more water, there's more energy than anyone could ever imagine or use. But they want us to believe that we're running out of land, we're running out of water, there's infinite water, we're running out of food, where you can take a seed that your grandmother put in a jar 50 years ago, stick it in the ground, water will fall from the sky, and food will grow out of the ground. You can give every American family a half an acre in Texas, and Texas would have tons of empty land. Okay. They're lying about the population of the world. They're lying about everything, our history, right? Anything over 100 years ago, complete and total garbage. It's unbelievable. And once you see it, one great thing about Flat Earth, no Flat Earther is ever bored for a split second, ever. Even if you have insomnia, you wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning, there's so much to learn, right? There's so much to do, so much to really recover. And when you unplug from the matrix, the heliocentric matrix, you literally you take your life back. You take your world back. How does it affect me? I still got to go to work. People say, you know, what difference does the shape of the earth make? Shape of the earth makes no difference at all. It's where you are and what your role is here. Okay. So again, my life changed. I had my own company. You said at the beginning, I had the American dream. I worked in corporate America. I literally took over the company. We became so successful, the division I started. Then the company was sold, and I started my own company. Life is fantastic, and I walked away from it all to do this, because this world is going to complete and total crap. Okay, and unless we wake up and get our heads out of the spinning ball and realize who we are, where we are.
Spinning ball. You just said it yourself.
I said get our heads out of the spinning ball fantasy.
Yeah, it was okay. I got you. Yeah. Hey, Dave.
Go ahead. Sorry for the long
No, that's great. What's on the other side?
There is no other side. That's like, say, going to a lake and goes, what's on the other side of the lake? Underneath the lake, there's land. And here's the thing.
What? Wait,
Stop,
universe? Stop. This is a quarter.
Yeah, we're not a disc. We're not floating in the air. The flat Earth is the basement of the universe. Okay.
Okay. Now you lost me.
Well, this is the best way I can describe it. The flat Earth is the basement of the universe. In your world, there's an endless expanding universe, expanding into nothing. It's like it's a paradox, which is just totally ridiculous. But here's the thing: what's under the Earth? Who the heck knows? The deepest hole ever dug is just over 7.5 miles. It's in Russia. It's called the Great Borehole, and nobody has been able to get that. They dug down and they used ground penetrating radar to see what they're going to hit next, and it was wrong every step of the way. Oh, there's no more rocks. There's rocks. Oh, there's no more water. They hit water. Wrong. And then at 7.5 miles, they hit an impenetrable barrier that they tried for years. They tried everything. They tried blowing it up, drilling it with diamonds, everything. They could not get through it. Okay, so But then all of a sudden they know that we have a molten magnetic core 4,000 miles deeper.
No, they don't know that.
Well, that's what they tell us. They showed us a meme of it. They showed us a meme in our textbooks.
Dave, there we're on the same page. Okay? Yeah. Okay. All right. So nobody knows what's at the center of the earth. It's all theoretical.
Don't hold that quarter up. You're going to trigger me.
Okay. So, but no, this is what I'm asking. So you're saying here's, this is the earth. Here we are. The sun is doing this over the top. It's not going around, and the moon is doing it. Okay, yeah. I get all that. And then on the edge of this is an ice wall that we call Antarctica. We live somewhere in the middle of this, right? Okay.
Well, let me just correct you.
What
you're holding a quarter? Let me just correct you before you go on. You're holding a quarter up like that's the whole world. It's not. The edge of that quarter expands all the way across your state and country to the next country. It goes on forever, and you're just looking at our little puddle on that world. Our little puddle. Imagine Kansas, because Kansas is nice and flat.
Are you saying, wait, are you saying that there is no edge, that this continues on for infinity?
Yeah, well, we don't know. No one's allowed to go out there. I call it an extended plane, because I don't know if it's an infinite. Maybe it does end, but I don't know. Maybe there's nothing after it, kind of like the universe is. The end of the universe is nothing, and then it expands into bigger nothing.
Okay, all right. Okay, we'll stay right there. Okay, yeah. So this goes on. I want to know what's here, and you're saying underneath. That what is here is infinite. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know. Nobody knows. Nobody knows what's underneath the earth, what's holding it up. They showed us, the god Atlas. What is Atlas holding up?
A globe, right? A globe, yes.
Yeah, but if you look back in the older books, Atlas is holding up the sky. If he was holding up a globe, what's he standing on? He's standing in space. Is he upside down? Is he sideways? Atlas in the old books was holding up the firmament. And if you look in the Egyptian hieroglyphics, they show their people holding up one of their gods, which is the firmament and has the stars in it. Basically, they're holding up the sky. Mm-hmm. Okay, so again, this has changed history. They put a globe in Atlas's arms when the truth is he's holding up the firmament.
Right. Okay, so the edge,
no edge,
the under, exactly. You're jumping ahead of me. The edge, as we have understood it from flat earthers over the years, was that the Earth was a flat disk with a dome on the top.
No.
Well, hold on. Okay. And that the ice wall went around at the edge, and we had this dome on the top, and then whatever was on the bottom. But
this is what they want you to think.
But
go ahead.
Those are flat earthers that want us to think that.
These are not flat earthers that think that. No flat earther thinks that. They might
so it's
say
changed.
It that way, and that's what you're hearing.
Right.
But that's not what they're saying.
Right. Okay. So it's okay. So now the version of the flat earth that we are discussing tonight is infinite in all directions, 360 degrees.
Don't know that,
but it extends on. It goes
An
beyond.
Extended plane is the best way to say it. Yes.
And how would this exist in the universe? If you were out in the universe, out in empty space.
What universe? There is no empty space. Space does not exist. Space is water. Okay, the highest anyone's ever gotten is 72 miles, right? If you go look up, and again, it's on the app because it's hard to find on the internet now, there was an amateur rocket shot up in Arizona called the Go Fast rocket. And it did a couple things, which NASA has never done. One, the rocket went straight up instead of curving out and crashing in the ocean. And two, it had two cameras on it, one facing sideways and one facing down, and it didn't edit. Go watch Bezos's last last launch. 7 edits before it even cleared the tower. Okay. Edit. It's a movie. It's nonsense. But this thing went up. It was spinning around and around and around. And at 72 miles, all of a sudden, Jimmy, it went kerplunk. It went into a thicker medium, almost like water, but not quite as thick, maybe like plasma. And then it floated really weird. And funny thing happened. This was in Arizona. It turned on its side, and all of a sudden you can see the moon in the dark sky. Well, the moon at that very moment was over Australia. Okay. If the Earth was a basketball and Arizona was the top of the basketball, that rocket was a fraction of a millimeter over the top of that ball, and it could see the moon under the ball. That makes no sense. The only way it could have seen the moon is the Earth is a flat plane.
Now, if I don't want this to get away from me, I'm trying to digest everything. If you're saying that space isn't, there is no universe, there is no space, there's no vacuum of space, it's water? You said water?
Yeah. So look up you'll see the lunar wave, which is something that Crow 777 Radio filmed quite a while ago. And basically, it was they were filming the moon, and all of a sudden, these two waves went by. Literally, like if you're looking through water and a wave goes by, everything on the bottom changes, and you could see it. It was a double wave. It wasn't an artifact of the camera, and it's been filmed dozens and dozens of times by many people now. There's something going on up there. If you look at NASA, which tries to tell the truth in their weird way, everything they use in space is nautical terms: ships, docks, the Sea of Tranquility. It's all nautical terms.
What keeps the water then from falling down on us? You just said, you explained gravity to me. What's holding the water up?
So I had a NASA whistleblower that reached out to me, and again, unconfirmed because it was done by email. We were going back and forth for quite a while, and then they disappeared. They said that they're not allowed, even though they have the ability to go up above 72 miles and to research, they're not allowed to. But they says that it gets thicker and thicker. It first is plasma, then it turns into liquid, and then it becomes solid, and that's the firmament, right? So that's interesting. I can't prove it, but I like the story, and the Go Fast rocket seemed to have penetrated into it. So what holds it up? Well, if you watch it, if you take a pot of water and bring it to a boil and watch on the bottom, you'll see a bubble, right? A bubble before it pops up. Now put yourself inside that bubble as a little tiny guy. You're standing on a flat surface. There's a dome over you, and there's water above you, and there's nothing physical holding that water up other than air pressure. Then you go look and you think, have you ever been in a hurricane or torrential downpours where literally rivers are coming out of the sky? Where were those millions of tons of water? Were they floating in the air?
Yes.
Where does this water come from? So drizzle and light rain does come from clouds condensing, but when we have heavy duty low pressure systems, water unleashes from the sky.
Mm-hmm.
And how that all works, I'm not sure, but during a hurricane, when we have super low pressure, so much water comes out of the sky, it was not floating in clouds that planes can fly through. It's coming from somewhere else. So my explanation is it has to do with air pressure in our system. And here's the problem. That makes a lot more sense than air pressure next to a space vacuum. Never in science or in nature, in any lab, anywhere, has anyone ever been able to have high pressure next to low pressure without a physical barrier. I don't care if it's above it, below it, side it. And when I say low pressure, I'm just talking lower pressure. I'm not talking a friggin' vacuum. A vacuum, they tell us a Tor 17 vacuum of space. We can't even recreate that on Earth here with in the Sandusky vacuum chamber, which has 11-foot thick steel and concrete walls so it doesn't implode when they try to suck the air out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? But we have the vacuum of space that doesn't suck the air off Earth, and the only explanation Globers can come up with, well, gravity is holding the air down, and as it gets thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner until it's space. Okay? That's ridiculous, because in that world, I can take a shoebox, hold it in the air in a room, and then suck all the air out of the room, and the air that's in the shoebox will stay in the shoebox because gravity's holding it in. You and I both know that doesn't happen. The whole gravitation of space. At what altitude can I not suck air or water up through a straw with the very light, low pressure of my shaken lungs, right? There's no place. I can do it anywhere, right? I can just, with the tiny bit of low pressure, suck air up into a cup, right? Up into my mouth, right? Well, we're supposed to believe that the gravity's holding the air down and the vacuum of space. It's all absolutely insane and idiotic.
Okay. How do you explain a bubble? Your magical bubble mix when you're 5 years old and you're blowing bubbles in the backyard. How do you explain a bubble?
a sphere is the best shape to hold something, and air pressure equal in all directions will create that. So you're creating a little pressure. You have a slimy bubble containing it, and it's holding the bubble out, and then the bubble eventually pop or deflate or whatever. To say that rocks attract each other and make perfect spheres in space, like listen to your heliocentric model. Once upon a time, there was nothing. It exploded and became everything. All right, that's cool, right? And then all of a sudden, all of the rocks connected and started creating Earth and all these planets, and all of the gases started collapsing in on each other and sucking more and more gas in, and became these gigantic nuclear furnace burning balls in a vacuum. And they left a vacuum in between. How the heck does that happen? It's all impossible, insane nonsense. If you go out tonight, Jimmy, and go look at the stars, go sit on your porch or wherever you are and chart out the stars and mark the time and say, okay, I see a little penguin and a star and a cow. And then next year, same night, same time, go out, same time, same spot. Every single star will be exactly where it was. Meanwhile, we've traveled 4.4 billion miles from where we were last year. All of those stars and planets that are supposedly out there are moving in their own directions, and nothing changes? Nothing changes? Nonsense. Absolute and total nonsense.
Okay, except... Okay, if we go back to 1922, I'm not reading, this is not on Google, this is in my head, okay? You go back to 1922, Edwin Hubble, here in Pasadena, Southern California, was up on Mount Wilson at the Mount Wilson Observatory, and he's looking through the telescope, and him and his assistant were taking photographs. And what they noticed, and she actually made the discovery, but anyway, they started to notice things out of place and some shifts. And he then realized that up until 1922, it was described as what you were saying right there, that the universe is static, doesn't move. Edwin Hubble in 1922 said, no, things are moving. It's not static. And as a matter of fact, they're moving away from each other. In 1928, he published his paper. In 1928, Einstein shows up at the same observatory right here behind my house and looks through the telescope because Einstein said in the theory of relativity and special relativity that the universe was static. That was Einstein. Let me finish. So Einstein looks through the telescope, sees it himself, looks at the photographs, and realized he was wrong. And he had to go back and modify some equations in his theories. Now, moving forward, in 1998, two more scientists went to go and look. One of the ongoing theories of our universe was that the universe was expanding after the Big Bang, as you mentioned, and it was slowing down, and that eventually gravity would overtake the universe. It would collapse back on itself, wash, rinse, repeat, another Big Bang, and everything starts over again. Instead of finding that it was slowing down, they found out that the universe is expanding, and the expansion rate is increasing. So all of this shows the opposite of what you're suggesting here. That
cool
everything,
story, bro. That's all I can say because there's no evidence of what you're saying whatsoever. If you go and look at
wait. No, you can't say that.
I can say that, and I can prove it to you right now. If you go to the Georgia Guidestones, I'm sure you know what those are, the Georgia Guidestones.
The Georgia Guidestones, listen, Dave, I'm just responding to what you said.
Yeah, you know problem.
And there's a thing called red shift and blue shift.
Yes, I'm aware.
Okay, are you saying that red shift and blue shift are not real?
No, things are shifted. Things are red and things are blue for different reasons, but they're not moving away. Go look at Arcturus. Okay, go to my on the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. Go to the stars button and look at the one on Arcturus. It's flashing in all different colors. You could see it with your naked eye.
But that's right. Okay. And Zeta Reticuli, the next galaxy closest to us, is not moving away from us.
There is no other galaxy. It's all nonsense. These are all luminaries in the sky. No one has proven that they're physical. No one knows their distance. Nobody knows how they figured out the distance to the sun. Nobody knows any of this. And here's the thing. Jimmy, let me just shift a little bit.
Hold on. I'm 30 seconds past a commercial break.
Okay.
So let's get back to that. This is Fade to Black. Our guest tonight, Flat Earth Dave. This is a conversation. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black. More with Flat Earth Dave, David Weiss, when we come back after this short break. Stay with us.
Hi, everybody. This is Rob Halford, the Metal Guard, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Your 1 million gigawatt paranormal powerhouse, KUNX-DB. The X.
Are you ready to read about true paranormal events? UNX Media publishes nonfiction books about UFOs, ghosts and haunted places, time anomalies, cryptid creatures, and more. Just like KUNX-DB Radio, it's all about unexplained phenomena. Visit www.unxmedia.com to see our list of great book titles by Debbie Ziegelmeyer, Gene Walker, Devin Listrom, Wayne Lawrence, Bill Spicer, and yours truly, Margie Kay. That's unxmedia.com.
Why is it we're not very good with our health regimen until it's too late? We don't put oil in the car until the engine blows up. When the body's out of balance, your health is not so good. Give your body some love. Log on to GetTheT.com. That's GetTheT.com. Try our Life Change Tea, which cleanses you from harmful intruders. A clean colon is one of the ways to bring the body in balance. We also carry organic supplements to help you get where you need to go. So do your body a favor. Log on to GetTheT.com. That's GetTheT.com. You can even visit our sales page to save some dough. Does anybody call money dough anymore? Anyway, log on to GetTheT.com, shop, get balanced, then learn some cool tips at Health Matters Now. You'll be glad you did. That's GetTheT.com.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and I only drink Fade to Black blend coffee from Rivermoon. Just click on the Rivermoon Coffee banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com. Promo code F2B Blend.
This is the only way forward.
This is Fade to Black. Make contact.
This is Billy Carson, founder and CEO of Forbidden Knowledge, and we're heading to Egypt this October. Come join Jimmy Church, myself, and the Forbidden Knowledge team as we spend a week exploring Giza, the Great Sphinx, the Great Pyramid, Saqqara, Dashura, Aswan, Edfu, Dendara, Karnak, and we'll celebrate Jimmy's birthday in Luxor. The Forbidden Tour of Egypt is this October 5th through the 12th and includes a 4-day Nile cruise, expert Egyptologists, and a chance to explore Egypt with Jimmy and I as your host through your journey of a lifetime. Space is limited, so make your reservation now. Please visit ForbiddenKnowledge.com for information and complete itinerary. That's ForbiddenKnowledge.com.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and this year, June 18th, 2022, the Disclosure Fest Foundation presents the Mass Meditation Initiative. It's Saturday, June 18th from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., one day only at the Los Angeles State Historic Park in downtown Los Angeles, California, right next to Chinatown. I'm hosting the event again this year with music performances by Trevor Hall, The Desert Dwellers, Poran Gi, and many, many more on 4 separate stages. There's 16 stages in total, over 30 acres in downtown Los Angeles, with vendors and tents and presentations and workshops with Billy Carson, Adam Apollo, Lori Spagna, Laura Eisenhower, Brad Olson, David Palmer, and many, many more. It's all simple to do. Just go to disclosurefest.org for all of your tickets, information, and a full schedule of the day's events. Again, disclosurefest.org.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why fade to black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network.
Welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Flat Earth Dave is with us. We haven't done a Flat Earth show in 6 years, apparently. I knew it was a long time. And got Flat Earth Dave here with us, and David Weiss. Jumping back, picking up where we just left off, Dave, and great conversation, by the way. And I respect anybody that sticks to their guns and looks at the science as they see it, and mad respect. But here's the deal: we were just discussing the expansion of the universe and the measurements that were so correct that even Einstein backed up and said that he was wrong. To that end, what is a star then? And what is it that we are seeing in the skies? I can see Andromeda right now from my backyard. It's a little blurry spot. Take a telescope, look at it. It's incredible to see.
Absolutely.
And these, they called them gaseous nebula forever. But what is a star then? If galaxies aren't real?
And I'm going to give you a spoiler alert. I don't know, but I'm going to prove to you it's not what they tell us, okay? And then I'm going to suggest you what I think it might be.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So first thing is Einstein was brought in to get rid of, to bring in the theory of relativity to get rid of the ether because it's going to ruin their whole heliocentric model if they didn't. So Einstein was another puppet just like Elon Musk. We don't have time to get into that.
But who is, let me stop you there. Who is they?
They are the Club of Rome, the Bilderbergs, the Jesuits, all of these groups that are literally controlling the world right now. The United Nations, the Council of Foreign Relations, these are the people now that are running the world. So who?
But they weren't around. They weren't around in 1915 when Einstein published.
The Vatican was a big player. The Vatican priest came up with the idea of the heliocentric model, right? It wasn't a scientist, right? He came up with the Big Bang. It's all nonsense. It's all satanic garbage. And it's literally to hide the creator and to disconnect us from our power and literally steal our energy. It's a spiritual war we're in, whether you believe it or not, doesn't matter. They believe it. And that's where we are. So what are stars? What are planets? Now, Jimmy, have you ever been out on a clear night on a full moon away from any lights and the moon is so bright you can read a book by it?
I do it every night. I live in the desert, Dave.
Okay, so you can read by the moonlight and it casts a shadow on the ground. But we're led to believe that the moon is a dusty, dirty ball 238,000 miles away. Where can you get a rock and even a shiny rock and shine light on it where it will light up, it'll reflect light and cast a shadow somewhere else? It can't happen. There's another thing called the inverse square law of light. Now, light as it expands gets dimmer and dimmer, and every time you double the distance to a light, it's 1/4 of the brightness. Think of a balloon that's not blown up. The rubber's nice and thick. Blow it up to a foot in diameter, the rubber's kind of thin. Blow it up to 100 yards in diameter, the rubber is gone. There's nothing left. And that's what happens to light. Light dissipates over distance and it gets weaker and weaker. So we look at the moon, which is it's supposed to be lit up by the sun, which would make it a hot spot and it should fade out edge to edge like any sphere being lit up by a single source light would happen. That doesn't happen. The moon is lit evenly from edge to edge. But if we went, and let's say the moon was only 1 lumen on a full moon night.
It's not lit up evenly edge to edge.
It is. But
have you
getting
looked
off
at
of
it?
that.
Well, hold on, Dave. Have you looked at the moon with a telescope?
Absolutely. I can zoom in and see the fine details. I have a P1000, better than any telescope you have.
Right.
The pictures I take are amazing. But
you can
here's
see
the problem.
you can see the edges. You can clearly see that it's a sphere.
No, you cannot. And again, in my videos, I show you 4 moons, and they all look like spheres, and none of them are. Okay, so.
But what is a
finishing
star?
What I'm saying? Let me finish my point, and then,
Okay.
then just remember your question. I'll be done in a second. Halfway, let's say the moon was only 1 lumen. Halfway to the moon, it's 4 lumens. Cut that in half, right? Again, it's 16. Then cut that in half, 64. By the time you're 100 miles from the moon, it's tens of millions of lumens, which is far brighter than we see the sun. So at that's how bright the moon would have to be for it to be 1 lumen here on Earth. According to science, actual testable, measurable, provable science, the brightness. So you've been out, you've looked at Jupiter, you've looked at Mars. They're brighter than any stars in the sky. Well, you believe that this dusty, dirty ball Mars is reflecting sun off of its stand, where it comes back to Earth brighter than a star? Impossible. And then the sizes. Think about this. If the sun was one of those yoga balls, the Earth is a small marble next to it, right? That's what they tell us. Okay. So if the sun was just a mile over your house and you went out one morning and you looked up, the entire sky, horizon to horizon, would be sun, right? So now we moved the sun 93 million miles away, which is 8 light minutes away. It's now the size of a coin held at arm's length. You get that quarter you were just holding, hold it at arm's length, that'll cover the sun. So it reduced from the entire sky to the size of a coin held at arm's length at 93 million miles. Well, if you doubled the distance, how much smaller would it get? And the answer is a lot smaller. Some people say half as small. Okay. Well, if you made it 3 times the distance, its angular size would fail the Rayleigh criteria and you wouldn't be able to see it, right? But let's just be safe. 24 times farther, it is scientifically provable too small to see. 24 times farther, 8 light minutes times 24 is 3 light hours. So at 3 light hours away, the sun is scientifically provable too small to see. There's no denying this using globe science and math and everything. Okay, so now let's compare that to Polaris, which you can see. It's right on. The Big Dipper points at it. It's in our northern sky. Everyone can see it. They tell us it's about 48 times bigger than our sun. Okay, 48 times 3 light hours is 6 light days. Okay, 6 light days. Right? Did they do that right? 6 light days. So to make it equivalent, Polaris at 6 light days away is magnitudes too small to see. But we can see it, and they tell us it's 340 light years away, or 200, like 300. I think it's 340 light years away, and we just scientifically proved that you can't see it at 6 light days away. Okay, and we can see it. So right there, you got to people short circuit at these numbers, right? That proves that they're lying. One more. The closest star is Alpha Centauri, 4.5 light years, 25 trillion miles. Okay, 25 trillion miles. What is 25 trillion miles? Jimmy, how long is 1 trillion seconds? And don't say 1 trillion seconds. How long is 1 trillion seconds in, I don't know, you do it in years. How many years is 1 trillion seconds?
Oh, I have no idea.
Take a guess. I'll give you a Bitcoin if you get it within 1 year.
1 trillion seconds?
Yeah, just take a guess. You'll be wrong. It's okay.
Divided by 60.
No, don't do the math. Just take a guess.
1 trillion seconds?
1 trillion seconds. How long? 5 seconds.
In miles or in light years?
No. 1 trillion seconds is how much time. How much time? Is it a day? Is it a week? Is it a year?
Oh, is 1 trillion seconds? I'll go with, I'll say 6 years.
Very close. 31,000 years.
31,000 years. Okay.
31,000 years. You weren't even close.
Okay.
So think about this. 1 trillion seconds is 31,000 years. If you were traveling at a mile per second, which no human has ever gone, and you traveled for 1 trillion seconds, 31,000 years, you'd be 1/25th of the way to the closest star. You'd have to do that 31,000 years, 25 more times to get there, 24 more times. Okay? That's the closest star. The other ones are magnitudes farther, and you believe that we can see them with our naked eye? Those stars, the brightness, that's a whole nother issue. The size, that's a whole nother issue. All of it is made up nonsense, and they didn't teach us to think in these big numbers. Most people listening to what I just said just short-circuited because they were never taught to deal with big numbers like this. Right?
But
so
when you look at it, Jimmy, what are we seeing?
You're seeing lights here in the sky. Here's something. In Arizona, we sent up a balloon late at night on a perfectly clear day, and we had the high-def cameras looking up. Okay, and we could see the stars in the Milky Way before it even took off. And guess what? As it gets higher and higher, it should see more and more, right? Because we're getting above any thick atmosphere. By the time it hit 50, 60, 70,000 feet, all of the stars were gone. Jimmy, what the heck does that mean? You know what? I don't know what that means, but I know what it does mean. It means that they're lying about what we're seeing. Okay, I took a flight late night from California. I was going to the Sydney Olympics, and I was so excited, long before I was a flat earther, to see the stars from the middle of the ocean with no lights around. It's going to be amazing. And when I got my blanket, I put it up to the window. The lights were pretty much off in the airplane because we're flying in the middle of the night. Everyone's sleeping. And I'm looking out. There was like 2 lights out there, 3. There might have been other airplanes. I'm not even sure. Okay, they're lying. What are stars? Well, if you go to the stars section on the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app, and you look at these things, they're pulsing orbs of energy. They're amazing. You look at the planets; they're literally they're not what NASA and Walt Disney are showing us because they're the same company. They're pulsing orbs of energy. Why are all of the wandering stars, now known as planets, named after gods? That's interesting. And all of the stars out there, they're here. They're small. They're within our world. They're within the Earth system. Okay, there is no solar system. They're in the Earth system. I think that stars have to do with our souls. I think that our entire world is a living world that we live on, and all of the luminaries in the sky are sentient in nature. Okay, don't ask me how this works. This is me speaking. I'm not speaking for all other flat earthers. This is my theory.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And that our job here in this meat suit, we have our soul, which is maybe our soul resides in the heavens above, the non-physical heavens above, right here, right above us. And then we come here, and our whole job here is to expand the mind of the creator and not lose control of our soul, not sell our soul to evil, because that's what these heliocentric bastards are trying to do. They're literally trying to steal your soul or take control of your soul. And that's what happens. People sell their souls for fame and fortune. People lose their way. People are depressed. And I've seen people, when they wake up to flat earth, their depression goes away, because your depression is your soul is trying to tell you the truth of this world. And then your ego, your brain, your programming is blocking you from it. And all of the chatter, all of the news is steering your mind. News is an acronym: north, east, west, south. They're steering your mind. Okay. Once you understand that you are at the center of creation, that you are a superior, powerful individual that has free will, that has the ability to manifest with your thoughts. Jimmy, all those guitars in your room were thoughts before they became guitars. You brought them into your life with your thinking. Everything you have in your life, everyone listening to this, everything you have in your life is the way that you think. When people go, well, I don't have $1 million. I want $1 million. Well, basically what you're sending out there is, I don't have $1 million. I'll never have $1 million. And I'm going to be working paycheck to paycheck my entire life. That's what you're sending out. So your world is created by your thoughts. They don't want us to know that. They want us plugged in to the matrix, the heliocentric system, and to give up our lives. Unplug, take your life back. And this place is so amazing. I have FOMO. One day I'm not going to be here anymore. And I'm not afraid of death. I'm just afraid of missing out on this amazing ride that we're on.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on the whole unplug thing, and I'm with you on the news and the media thing, even though I'm part of the media myself. But you're
a good guy, Jimmy.
I fight the power, Dave. I fight the power.
Okay. I see it. I like you.
Help me. I like you too. Help me understand the phases of the moon. And before we get to that, after that, you've got to tell me how the sun thing works, because that doesn't make any sense either, what we're seeing in the sky. But how does how do the phases of the moon happen if it's not the Earth?
Yeah.
Well,
the sun and the moon work together. The sun and the moon circle around the Earth. When I say circle, it's not like going around a globe. It's going around the lake, where the center of the lake is a magnetic center.
Right.
There's a mountain there, and the sun and the moon, they go around in between the two tropics, the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn, which is a bigger circle.
But
and in June,
but Dave, how do you explain the
phases of the moon?
The phases of the moon, because
so I'm going to explain right now. The sun laps the moon once every 28 days. So on my app, the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app, you'll see, you just turn on the time lapse, and you can see that the sun gets farther and farther away from the moon, and when it's opposed to the moon, you have a full moon, and as it starts catching up to the moon will wane, and then when it catches up, there's a new moon, and then when it passes it again, there's a sliver moon, and it goes around and around. Now, the sun is not reflecting light. I believe that the sun is the anode and the moon is the cathode of the Earth battery system.
Okay,
and that the sun is electrifying the moon, and the moon is a light itself.
Okay. Okay.
It's a lot.
But if that's the case, right, and the moon's going here, and every 28 days the sun is on the outside of it, and it's lapping the moon, and that's what we're seeing. If you're directly under that, you're not going to have any phases. You're only going to be looking at the bottom of the moon.
No, that's not true. So
what do you mean?
Here's the thing: the sun and the moon that we see are in an apparent position. This is really hard, and I have videos, all of my interviews, which are in the app, where I have video. I show different explanations of how we see this. Like if you and I were standing at the beach, and we're at the sun is setting, and we're 100 yards apart or whatever, 10 yards apart, you're going to see the sun walking along the water right up to your feet. I'm going to see a glare walking up to my water, up to my feet. I'll look over you. I can't see yours. You can't see mine. We both see the sun in a different position in the sky. When we're driving down the road as a kid, and we'd say, "Mom, the moon is following me," and our parents told us to shut up, because it's not following you. It is following you, because we all see it in a position relative to our own. How does that work?
No, wait. We'll come back to that.
Okay.
What I am saying is that if you live in the path of the sun and the moon that you're describing, as it is moving in a circle around the flat firmament, then
you're looking at it the wrong way, Jimmy. It's not like that. It's the moon is being projected into our sky, and we see it within our what we call our personal atmospheric dome. And it's like a television. If you're looking at somebody that's looking at you, and you're standing in front of the television, they're looking at you. And if you're standing over to the side, they're looking at you there, and you're standing over to the other side, they're looking at you there. That's how we see it. Because the optics of the sky are no way to prove the shape of the Earth. But in the app, excuse me, there's a section called moon phases. There's and eclipses. Watch those videos and you'd be like, wow. And here's the thing is, what exactly causes an eclipse? I can't tell you, right? But I can show you some things that do work, and I can also show you that it's impossible on a ball. It's impossible, right? The sun is 400 times bigger than the moon and 400 times farther, coincidentally, which makes them appear the same size. The odds of them lining up, like two quarters lined up with each other, are so infinitesimally small. It's unbelievable.
It's a crazy number, and I agree with you.
It happens every year, multiple times, and then after 18 years, the entire pattern repeats again. Like a fine clock, okay? In a heliocentric beehive, nonsensical, gravitationally fed galaxy and solar system, that would never happen. But it happens every 18 years. It repeats again and again and again. That only works on a flat Earth.
Now, a lunar eclipse, with what you're describing to me, wouldn't happen in your version. And a solar eclipse would never happen in your world.
Well, actually, in my world, a solar eclipse happening by the moon does happen. And And in the eclipse videos, I made 2 videos that show how it's a projected, like a rear screen projection, how it happens, and it works perfectly. The other thing about the lunar eclipse, they're saying that the Earth is, Bill Nye, the lying guy with the bow tie, has convinced us that the Earth is causing the shadow, and only a sphere can cause a curved shadow. Well, that's not true. If you take a single source light and a sphere and cast a shadow on another sphere, it comes out straight. It's the weirdest thing ever. You put a straight edge eclipsing it, and it comes out curved.
Yeah, I know. I agree with that. But explain to me how the flat Earth causes a solar eclipse. How is it getting in front of the sun?
Well, no, you're talking about a lunar eclipse. A lunar eclipse is the shadow of the Earth on the moon. That's what they tell us. It's not the shadow of the Earth on the moon. That's not what causes a lunar eclipse. And it's proven. There's a thing called a Seleninian eclipse, where it's a lunar eclipse where
I had it back. You're right. I had it backwards. But explain to me how a solar eclipse works, because I've seen a solar eclipse.
Yeah, absolutely. So have I. The solar eclipse is something is eclipsing the sun, and it's not a physical moon in front of the sun. I think it's a physical moon behind the sun that we see. Okay. I have an experiment where I hang up a blue sheet in my room, like a sheet. And on the far side of the room, I have a flashlight flashing on the sheet. And when I look at the sheet, I see literally a beautifully perfect sun on the sheet. But if you were standing to the left of me, you're going to see that sun in a completely different position. I'm going to see the sun in a different position. When we point at it, we're pointing at 2 different positions. I do this in almost every one of my interviews.
Yeah, but that's from 5 feet away. That's not from 8 light year minutes. I mean,
it's not 8 light year minutes. So again, you're mixing models. You believe that the sun's 8 light minutes away. I believe the sun's about 150,000 feet in the air. The sun that we see is not far. It's not big. It's not physical. Again, Jimmy, this is a radio show. Really difficult to show examples of this. And I just encourage people, go to my website. There's lots of free videos there. If you don't want to spend the $3 on the app, that's completely fine. And watch these videos and then go test it yourself. Then you'll understand that the heliocentric ball, pressurized ball in a space vacuum makes absolutely no sense.
But who built the incandescent sun?
I don't know.
Yeah, it had to.
The creator?
I mean, it's... okay.
Read the Bible. God created the 2 lights in the sky, the greater light and the lesser light. Both of them are lights.
Right. So everything then would have had to have been manufactured, including this planet, right?
Jimmy, well, it's not a planet, it's a plane. This entire place is intelligently designed.
Right.
And if you look, this is a free energy system. There's free energy here. You look at the old Tatarian buildings, they're literally transmitting energy. They're lighting up. There's such amazing stuff here that we could never build today. And I have a theory. This is just me talking, and I'm throwing it out there, and I'm starting to believe it more and more. Let's say you were the creator and you're going to create this amazing Earth with such amazing beauty and everything. And then you create it and it's got free energy in it and everything. What are you going to do? Just throw some humans down there? Good luck for the next 1,000 years. Hope you can figure something else out. Or maybe you're going to put some infrastructure down here. Okay, maybe you're going to throw some kingdoms. Go look up Angkor Wat. Go look up Göbekli Tepe. Go look at the pyramids. Go look at some of these things that are around the world. Google Earth, there's a wall that goes under the ocean that's bigger than the Great Wall of China. It's like wraps around the whole world. Like, what is that? So I don't know, Jimmy. There's so many unknown things, but it's not, we didn't build this stuff, and aliens didn't come here from outer space because outer space doesn't exist. We live here. There's more land. They're hiding more continents. What if I told you there's 1,000 more continents? 1,000 more continents right here in our world that they're hiding from us. Okay? They're hiding what's beyond Antarctica. And I also believe they're hiding stuff in the north also.
Okay.
In the north, there's a tropical land in there.
Okay, stay right there. You're not going anywhere, Dave. This conversation isn't ending. We're going into overtime next. I got to hit a break. Our guest tonight, Flat Earth Dave. I'm having a great time. This is a great conversation right here. This is Fade to Black I'm your host, Jimmy Church. More with Flat Earth Dave Weiss, when we come back after this short break. Stay with us.
Listening to Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the X.
Hey, what up, y'all? It's your girl Vivica Fox here, and you are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
This is Billy Carson, founder and CEO of ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. ForbiddenKnowledge.tv is the fastest growing and one of the most watched networks in the world. I would like to personally invite you to check out our expanding library of TV, film, lectures, and special presentations. ForbiddenKnowledge.tv has over 6,000 videos covering lost history, health, UFOs, spirituality, and our future. We are committed to our community, and with my personal invitation, you can, right now, get your free 30-day membership at ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. Your own library of information starts today at ForbiddenKnowledge.tv.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and I take Life Change Tea supplements every single day. It's what I do. Click on their banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Are you ready to read about true paranormal events? Unex Media publishes nonfiction books about UFOs, ghosts and haunted places, time anomalies, cryptid creatures, and more. Just like KUNXDB Radio, it's all about unexplained phenomena. Visit www.unxmedia.com to see our list of great book titles by Debbie Ziegelmeyer, Gene Walker, Devin Listrom, Wayne Lawrence, Bill Spicer, and yours truly, Margie Kay. That's unxmedia.com.
When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Yes, Rivermoon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Just click on the banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today.
This is Billy Carson with ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. Forbidden Knowledge TV has just reached its 1-year anniversary. That's right, 1 year. And as a show of appreciation, we are giving all new subscribers a free 30-day trial of ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. That's 30 days to binge watch thousands of movies, documentaries, conferences, workshops, lectures, yoga classes, meditation courses, and so much more. So log on to ForbiddenKnowledge.tv from your computer or mobile device, or get the Forbidden Knowledge TV app on Apple TV, Roku, Amazon, iTunes, or Google Play today, and use coupon code 30daysfree. That's coupon code 30 days free on ForbiddenKnowledge.tv today.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
This is Kristen, Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
It's It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
All right, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Great conversation tonight with Flat Earth Dave Weiss. His website, theflatearthpodcast.com, is right there on social media. We have it over at jimmychurchradio.com. And heading into overtime, and Dave, this is where I like to try to loosen up a little bit and have some fun. I've got two questions, and let's try to stay focused on this. One, how do we explain the compass? That's number one. Don't jump in. Number two, if no matter where you are, if you walk north, if you could walk north over water or whatever, no matter where you are, you end up at the same point. And if you can walk east or west over water, you will eventually end up where you started. How do you explain that?
Jimmy, this is my most fun question ever. Like if I'm on a show and they're taking callers, usually a flat earther will call in with that question because they want to hear me say it, because this one is going to open up your mind. First, I just want to say during the break, I checked my email, whole bunch of people asking for the Elon Musk video. I sent it to them. So check your email, people that are listening. And anybody that's listening that has a show, has a podcast, that if you have an audience, hit me up. FlatEarthDave.com. There is a Book Dave button. I want to get out there. I want to talk to anybody that has an audience with people that are willing to listen. All right. So now here we go with the compass. By the way, compasses don't work on a ball. They only work level. You have to hold the compass level. We're told that, the magnetic molten magnetic core, which is impossible, wraps around the ball. Nonsense. First, compasses don't work in Antarctica because they're too far away from the magnetic source. So picture a big giant lake, circular lake in Kansas, wherever. And at the center of the lake, there's an island with a mountain, and that mountain is magnetic. You hold your compass, it's going to point towards the center of the lake. No matter where you are on that lake, if you go north, you're all going to end up at the center. Very good. That works perfectly. Brings you all to the same place. Now, let's say I'm halfway between the edge of the lake and the center of the lake, and I hold my compass out. My compass is going to point towards the center of the lake. Now I'm going to want to go west, right? So I look at my compass and I start moving. But what I notice is I can't go in a straight line. I have to constantly turn to the right to maintain my heading of west, because I'm pointing, like you just go out into your yard, point at a tree and off your right shoulder, and that's north, and you try to walk straight forward. Well, you have to keep pointing at the tree. You're going to walk in a circle, and you're going to end up right back where you started from, because you just went around the pond, keeping the North Pole at the very center, equidistant from the North Pole. This works perfectly on a flat Earth and a globe Earth. The problem is on a globe Earth, excuse me, if you're south of the equator, you'd have to correct to the south, but it doesn't happen. We've talked to ship's captains trying to dead wreck in 90 or 270 in the southern oceans, and they always have to correct to the north. That leads you to be making a big circle around the North Pole again. The North Pole is the center of the Earth. It does not move. Magnets point to it because it's magnetic, period. Now, if you go south, if somebody in America went south, somebody in China went south, they'd end up not in the same place. They'd end up on opposite sides of the world. Okay. One would be on the, they'd be going away from each other. Nobody, billions of people have circumnavigated east and west. 0 have circumnavigated south. Every direction you point, check this out. Every direction you can point is south. What do I mean by that? If you point north, start walking in a straight line that way. As soon as you pass the North Pole, you're heading south. You point west. If you don't correct to the north, you're heading south. You point east. If you don't correct to the north, you're heading south. You walk south, you're walking south. every straight line will hit Antarctica. Just put yourself on that round pond. North is at the center. Go in a straight line, and eventually you'll hit the shoreline. Will you fall off the lake? No. You hit the shoreline. Step up onto the shore. Go for a walk. How big is Kansas? I don't know. No one's allowed to go and explore those fields out there.
I'm not sure that I followed that. And what I mean by this, is this. If it's a globe, and you said if you continue going north,
it's not
eventually.
a globe.
Well, hold on, Dave.
Yeah.
I'm trying to follow you. So you said that if you go north, eventually you go south, right?
100%.
Okay. Well, that's what you do on a globe. You go north, and then you go south. You go over the top, and then you're heading south.
It's the same. I said it's the same. The problem is on a globe, if you go south, eventually you'll be heading north. Right? If you go down underneath the ball, as soon as you cross over the South Pole, you're heading north, right?
Once you start going back up, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, nobody's ever done it. No plane, no person, no satellite, no story. Nobody has ever gone south and come up. Nobody's gone south from Santiago and ended up in Australia. It's never happened. Okay? Let me ask you another question. If you
but Dave, I think that it's never happened for a lot of reasons.
Well, that you can make up as many stories as you want, but they don't.
I'm not making it. No, what I'm saying is Antarctica is off limits for a bunch of reasons that I disagree with. 100%. I'm with you on that. But if I can, if the flat Earth with the X on it, right? Okay, you have an X, you make an X, and however you want to look at it, forget about the equator. You just make an X, and you walk in a straight line on that X, and you can walk on water. Eventually, you're going to come back to where you started from. You're not going to walk in a circle.
No, you're not. Look, when you walk in any direction, you hit Antarctica, and then you keep on going. If you're on a lake in Kansas and you walk in a straight line across that lake, it's frozen. You're going to hit the land, and then you keep walking. You're going to end up in Connecticut eventually. Okay, you're not going to end up on the other side of the lake. It doesn't happen, right? You're mixing models. You're trying to work it out on a ball, and it doesn't work on a ball because nobody has ever done it. Think about this: you got your ball, and the top half is the north, and the bottom half is the south. Now, if you were going to fly an airplane from any northern location to any other northern location, any combination of northern location to northern location, would that plane ever need to go below the equator?
I don't understand. Like, ask me again.
Okay. So you're going to pick any two northern locations, an origination spot and a destination, and you're going to fly an airplane from, let's say, from California to China, whatever. Would you ever need to go south of the equator? Would you ever need to go below the equator? The answer is no. And guess what? No plane flying from any two northern from a northern place to another northern place ever crosses the equator because it doesn't make sense. You would just stay in the north. Right, if you're going from
it's a shorter distance.
A shorter distance, right?
Right.
No plane ever does it. Well, then the same should be true in the south. If you go from a southern location to another southern location, you should never have to go above the equator. You should just take the shortest route. Well, a vast majority of southern flights cross the equator twice. They go way out of their way. They go from Santiago all the way up to the United States in the Northern Hemisphere, all the way over to Dubai, and then all the way back down to Australia when they could have just cut across the bottom at the same latitude and the flight would have been half the distance, but they don't. And if you look at it on a flat map, all of those trips are straight lines. On a flat map, these crazy southern flights are straight lines. And here's another thing. There's a book called 16 Emergency Landings where there's been emergency landings where someone's having a baby, someone's having a heart attack, and they need to land a plane. And you look at it where they're going, and they land in crazy. They went like 1,000, 1,500 miles out of the way to land in Moscow or Seattle or Calgary. And it's like, why did they go out of that far out of range to land there? And how did they get there? How did they go another 1,500 miles in 20 minutes? How did they do that? And then you look at it on a flat map, and you draw a line from the origin to the destination, well, the airport they stopped at is right on that line every single time. Okay? This absolutely proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that we live on a flat stationary plane, and the world is more set up the way we have it on our map than the stupid globe. No pilot brings a globe into the cockpit and goes, "Oh, I'm going from here to there." Go out to the home goods store, any store that sells globes, pick up a globe and look at the bottom of it, and it says not for education, just not for educational purposes, for decorative purposes only. And that's because they don't want to be sued when someone tries to go from Brazil to Africa and realizes they only went it halfway and they ran out of gas.
And so what is interesting about this is that I think that I may be wrong, but you're taking into account that the Earth is not moving, and it is. And the shortest, okay, but it is. And so because the Earth is moving, and the shortest route from London to Seattle or to Los Angeles is this direction, not this direction, plus the Earth is moving. And
Dave, I don't call you Dave. Jimmy, you think that the spin of the Earth is spinning from underneath the plane, so when you're heading west and the Earth is spinning east, that you get there faster? The problem is lots of plane routes have longer flights when they're flying towards the spin of the Earth, when their location should be rushing to them at 1,000 miles an hour. It makes no sense. Jimmy, on the equator, if you're sitting on a runway at the equator, not moving, you're moving 1,000 miles an hour to the east because the Earth is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. If you're sitting on a runway in northern Alaska, you're only moving about 200 or 300 miles an hour because you're making a smaller circle on the globe as it spins around.
Exactly.
Well, if that airplane takes off and flies to Ecuador and wants to land on a north-south runway, that runway is moving sideways at 1,000 miles an hour. Where does that airplane get that sideways movement of 1,000 miles an hour? And don't say gravity, because that's ridiculous.
No, it's not gravity.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't, because the Earth isn't moving. Airplanes fly straight and level over the Earth plane. Okay? Airplanes fly straight and level over the Earth plane. And the FAA documents, NASA documents, all these undisclosed documents, they talk about a flat, non-rotating plane. They use the azimuthal equidistant map, which is the flat Earth map, for navigation. Okay, our coordinate system is latitudes and longitudes. You can plot out any place on this three-dimensional sphere. What happened to the z-axis? Why are they using a two-dimensional grid pattern to locate everything on the Earth if it's three dimensionals? They're forgetting about the z-axis. It makes no sense.
Well,
there is no curvature.
Well, my answer to that would be, and this makes sense. This is just me thinking through this, Dave, because I'm hearing this for the first time. But if you have a globe and you have the distance of Sydney, Australia to Los Angeles, okay, the distance is measured on the surface. It's not measured through the Earth, which would be a shorter distance. So, no, you're not going to the way to measure.
No. Look at the globe. On the bottom of the globe, Santiago and Australia are very close to each other. All they'd have to do is fly around, and it would be a much shorter route than going all the way up into the north and all the way down. It's absolutely insane. When you see the Santiago to Australia map, it's absolutely insane, and the route that they take is mind-blowing, and once you see it, you really can't unsee it.
No, what I was trying to tell you is why they would measure the distance flat, because that is whether it's flat or it's curved. If you lay it out
flat, non-rotating plane. That doesn't sound like what you're saying. You're making up a story to defend your position, and we all did it. I get it. Here, Jimmy, this is the thing. This is life-changing information. This breaks our entire world foundation, right? But by the way, on a globe, you have no foundation. You're flying through an infinite space. You're an infinite speck, and you're insignificant. Okay, this is world-changing information. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. And you're not going to see it in a 2-hour radio show, 2.5-hour radio show.
I get that. I get that. But here, let me demonstrate something for you, just so I'm understanding what you are saying, that distances are measured on a flat map. And why are they doing that if the Earth is round? Well, if you have New York and Los Angeles and you have a line, there's New York and Los Angeles, flat. This is a flat piece of paper.
Yeah.
That distance is the same if it's like this.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is. That line didn't change its length, Dave.
You know how much curvature it does, right? It didn't, because you're bending a flat piece of paper. But if you take a ball, well, again, the curvature from California to Connecticut is hundred. I forget what the number is. It's ridiculous, the amount of curvature, and it's not the same distance. It's not the same distance. The problem is, when you look at going from Santiago to Australia, it goes all the way up to the United States and all the way down. When in reality, you look at that on a flat Earth, it's a straight line, and that's what's going on. And the one of the big arguments is, which you haven't thought of, is, well, that flight is twice the distance. How does it make it in that amount of time? Well, there is a direct flight. And it has a 5-hour variance sometimes in how long it takes, because they're using these high altitude tailwinds, at which they get quite often. That maybe 200-mile-an-hour tailwind, and also these planes that do the direct flight they're very unique planes, and they're only flown by like a half a dozen military pilots. And they have 7 layers of heat-resistant paint on them. To me, that sounds like they're flying faster than they're telling us, right? And that's how they make up the difference. This is all a deception. By the way, the Qantas Airlines, which is based in Australia, that does these southern routes, all of their pilots know the Earth is flat. We've talked to them. They talk about it amongst themselves in their lounge, but they don't dare come out and say anything, because if they do, they lose their jobs. We interviewed a KLM pilot, a female, and she was telling us how they know the Earth is flat, and she was showing us, and she showed us videos and all sorts of stuff. So we had her on our show called Globe Busters, which is every Wednesday and Sunday on YouTube, and she got fired the next day. She was grounded and disappeared. So, people, have lives and families and mortgages, and they're stuck in this fake financial system. And that's what they do. They keep us in this system. NASA is a jobs program. There's millions and millions of jobs based on NASA. It's all nonsense. Yeah, they make some stuff. Maybe they may even made memory foam. Who knows? But they're not putting anything into space. Elon Musk with his satellites, which he reported on in the news, nonsense. It's nonsense. Do you know what satellites used to be? They used to be on balloons. And guess what NASA's saying now? The new satellites are going to be on balloons. You know why? Because they're all on balloons. NASA owns all of the helium companies in the world, and they use more helium than anyone else. Okay. And they're putting up these giant balloons, bigger than football stadiums, some of them, carrying balloons, and they can electrostatically control their altitude, putting them into different wind patterns to keep them exactly where they want. There's tens of thousands of them in the air at all times, and they're crashing all over the Earth. And people now have cell phones in their pockets, and they're filming them. All these satellites that are falling out of the sky have balloons on them. Okay. There are no satellites falling.
What?
Satellites are hanging on balloons. They're not falling around a space vacuum around a corkscrewing Earth. Earth is corkscrewing through space, and all these satellites are following us. It's all nonsense. They're on balloons.
So, okay. So, again, I just want to understand what you're saying. That of the 5,000 satellites, we've launched 10,000. Okay, but there's 5,000 that are in orbit right now. Active. That's
what they say.
Okay. That each one of those is tethered to a helium balloon?
I would say that they're whatever they're doing. I don't know if the ones that they're saying in space are the real ones or not. There's no satellites in space because space doesn't exist. The only thing that's up there are balloons and drones and airplanes. And it's funny, there's no GPS over the southern oceans, right? How does that work?
Yeah,
Well,
I've often wondered about that.
GPS is the old LORAN system, a tower-based system.
Now,
okay?
But last week, and I talked about this on the air, I've seen the Starlink system twice. Once with the naked eye last summer. Nice. But last week, standing out of my backyard, I've got my night vision, I've got all the gear, and something catches my eye. It's a long story. I don't want to get into it, but something made me go and grab my night vision. Right, I see something. And I come back, it turned out it was a UFO, it was aliens, it was ETs, I was abducted, Dave. It's a whole nother story. So anyway.
From people from the outer space, no doubt.
Right. So anyway, I'm looking up in the sky, and then I see Starlink come across, and it was moving, I guess that would be east. So it was going west to east. I counted 54.
Yeah.
And out of those 54, all equidistant, it was pretty majestic. It was pretty cool to see. 54, 10 of those 54, though, weren't in line. It was weird, right? They were out of, but they were still moving. Now, how does that happen if those are balloons holding them? How are they moving?
So the first answer is, I don't know. They could be balloons. They could be drones. They could be airplanes. They could be an airplane pulling a string of lights behind it. It could be a lot of things. It could be blue beam. But one thing it can't be are these tiny mini satellites. If you look at the angular resolution of your eyes, again, you cannot see something like that. And why are they so bright? How is the sun reflecting off of that to your eyes? Because if it's reflecting to your eyes, if I was a couple hundred yards to your left, it would not be reflecting to my eyes.
No, I couldn't. I didn't see it with my naked eye. I was using night vision.
Okay, so there are things up there. And you know what? A lot of these things up there, I don't think they're man-made. I don't think they're part of, what we're doing. I think that there's all sorts of lights in the sky that we don't know what they are. But what we can tell is you cannot see a Volkswagen 50 miles away with your naked eye. Well, those things are farther. Okay, they're supposedly 250 miles away. They're smaller than a Volkswagen. Okay, so you can't see these things. It's impossible. If they were a mile away, you couldn't see them. They're too small. Right? So they're lying to you. There's a light show going on up there. There's all sorts of stuff, right? You know that there's a Chinese space station now, and coincidentally, they also forgot to film it or photograph it being built, just like the ISS, right? Once you understand Elon Musk is a 100% a fraud, and you look at the videos that we have in any of my interviews, which all can be found at flatearthdave.com. Once you see them faking the stuff on the space station, you'll know that the space station's not real.
I've just got 2 minutes left, Dave. Great conversation, by the way.
I appreciate it.
Have you been to SpaceX in Los Angeles, down in Hawthorne?
No, I have not, but it's all an indoctrination, MK Ultra operation going on there. There's people in there and I'd say 95% of the people there think it's real. It's all done by compartmentalization. We have whistleblowers from NASA. They're like, I believed it my whole entire career, but now that I look back, I realized everything was compartmentalized. I didn't know what that person's doing. They didn't know what I was doing. They didn't know it's all compartmentalized. And the mission controllers for the moon missions, they said they practiced so many times in simulations that they couldn't tell the real thing from a simulation.
Yeah,
you know why? Because it's all simulation.
Yeah, could be. And in the world of physics, anything is possible. And I recognize that. What are they launching out of Vandenberg in back of my house? What are those rockets? Where are those going?
So there's a whole bunch of different deceptions that they do. Some of them are actually projected holograms, and we've actually photographed the projectors on NASA's lawn. And we've showed that just like Tupac on the stage. Well, I call it, there's a rocket launch. I call it the Tupac rocket. The top half of the rocket disappears mid-launch, and then it comes back. The other thing is, lots of times they're launching balloons. They're literally the space shuttle. Oh my God, the space shuttle. That big orange tank was a helium balloon. The whole thing is a balloon, a rocket-assisted balloon. It curves, it goes out to sea, and it crashes in the Bermuda Triangle. And nobody gets to see it. So again, on the app, the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app, there's a button called Rocket Balloons. Watch those videos. Don't believe crazy Flat Earth Dave. Go verify this stuff yourself. And once you do, your eyes will be open. Your world, you will start to unplug from the matrix. And when those plugs come out, it's the greatest thing ever, knowing that you're at the center of creation. Jimmy, I'm losing my voice. I love talking to you. Let's do it again. Don't wait 6 years. And check me out at flatearthdave.com. And anyone that has a show, come book me there. Get the app. It's $3. And the app is actually becoming a dating app because you get the friend finder. You can find people. You can message people around you. And people are doing these meetups. Someone just did a meetup in New York the other day. We had like 80 people there. Bam! Out of nowhere. And everyone's on the same page. So it's super fun, and just go read the reviews in the App Store. Don't even buy the app. Just go read the reviews.
I appreciate the conversation tonight, Dave. You got a great smile, by the way.
Thanks.
No, you really do. Thank you so much.
I'm a happy guy.
You really are a happy guy. Enjoy your night, man, and thank you for running into overtime with us. You made this night very special, man.
All right, Jim. Thanks.
Behave. Flat Earth Dave. Great conversation tonight. And you can just go to the flatearthpodcast.com. We've got the links up. It's right there in social media. Fade to Black is produced by Hilton J. Palm, Renee, Dennis, and Kevin. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vito, and Mark D. Kovar. Webmasters, Drew the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy. SpaceboyMusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network. And this broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2022 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network, Inc. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. That's been another great week here on the show. I've got a full weekend in front of me. I'll be right back here on Monday. Until then, I want everybody to be safe. It's time to fade to black.